Hi, I'm Nadia Combs, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students. That includes children in preschool through adults in our workforce program.
I'm Henry Shake Washington, the Board Vice Chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of more than 24,000 people working at nearly 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to email or meet with any of our board members and follow our district on social media. Board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum Cable Channel 635 and Frontier Cable Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They're posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students, every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we're making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of May 10th, 2022 is called to order. Member Washington will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Mr. Washington, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment for today?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to thank the Roosevelt Rock Band along with the director, Ernesta Chukalowski.
Dang, I'm scared.
She is better known as the Chick, what I was told. These wonderful students entertained us this afternoon at our board meeting. At this time, I would like for them to come up and introduce yourself. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, let's go.
My name is Eli Branton, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Jackson Myers, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Bodie Donald, and I am in 5th grade.
My name is Sienna Livy, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Grayson Dunbar, and I am in 4th grade.
My name is Matt Cooper Francola, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Jack Campo, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Jack DeGeorge, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Rocco Fischetti, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Sophia Villanova, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Anna Mallory, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Mason Myers, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Vincenzo Pardo, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Kenesha Johnson. I'm the student intern at Roosevelt and will be the new director of bands and orchestra at Jefferson High School next school year.
All right. Woo!
And I'm their teacher, Ernesta Chukalowski, and I'm from Roosevelt Elementary, and I'm delighted to have our students with you today. Thank you.
Thank you all for doing a great job. Your parents, if you want to take some pictures, please do so. Yeah, come up and take pictures. Give him that big smile there now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all so much. And this is really what it's all about. You guys were amazing entertainment. And I know everybody inside here was able to hear them rock out and to their amazing teacher. And I even saw Superintendent Davis. He was also rocking out with them today. So that was great to see. So we have one withdrawn item today, 719, proof of purchase of personal protective equipment from Protect Ed. I need a motion, a second, to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by member, turn this around. Okay, by member Washington, and a second by member Perez. Please vote when your lights appear. Yes. Yeah, I think we'll have to turn this around. Okay. Okay, and it passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all members are present. We have two sets of minutes to be approved today, April 12, 2022 School Board Recognition Meeting and April 19, 2022 School Board Meeting. I need a motion, a second, to approve the minutes. I have a motion by member Perez and a second by member Gray. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we're a nonpartisan board who believe that all children can be empowered to learn to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda statements and/or questions, board members, we will have 3 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you are asked to get back into the queue. Member Washington will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon meeting, let me quickly review the format for our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed caption on live webcasts, on cable TV, on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed with closed caption in the online video archive.
Thank you, Member Washington. We have one item scheduled from time certain, and that's at 6 p.m. That's employee input. For public comment, the board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here. However, it is requested when you address the board comments are not directed personally against a board member or staff member, but rather discussed at the issues. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. Our civility policies in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. When there is 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern, a red light, and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first speakers, and if the first 5 speakers can line up against the left-hand side, I would appreciate it. Our first speaker, please.
Hi there, my name is Kathleen Daniels, and I am the media specialist at a local public middle school and the current state-nominated Florida Association for Media Educators president-elect. I come here to give thanks and to show how your support directly impacts the lives of students. Thank you for supporting a site-based challenge versus a district-wide school challenge and banning, recognizing that each school has a unique culture and different stakeholders, and no one school should make decisions for all schools. Thank you for maintaining us having public virtual catalogs where anyone can see what each school has in their collection, so parents and guardians can have discussions about what books their students are reading and promote parent and student choice of reading. Thank you for supporting media specialists and valuing our time and energy away from fixing tech and inventory, and instead towards curating and engaging and representative materials through collection development. Thank you for providing opportunities and experiences to our students for author events such as Slam Showcase through our arts department and library supervisors. I pride myself in being data-driven and including student input. I buy books and create programs that directly meet the needs from our multiple qualitative and quantitative surveys and lesson assessments throughout each year. Last month, I was finally able to open back up from testing closures from writing and had an anonymous "I love my library because" display for School Library Month, where students wrote and posted their responses on our Glassdoor entryway. Here is just one response from the first day. Also, the student did write that there is a trigger warning for those that need it. Still appropriate though. I love my library because it has books wherein I find topics and situations that I can relate to. It is amazing to find representation, especially in hard topics such as suicide and sexual assault. I'm thankful for this retreat and its role in me still being here. That's a little heart that says, love this place. Again, I want to thank you for keeping kids alive by allowing students access to books that they relate to, even if we wish they didn't relate to them.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Allison Fernandez. I want to address a couple of things. The first is the United States of America is a constitutional republic. That means we are not a generic form of a democracy. We are a representative democracy. And that means that all power for every elected official emanates from the people. We, the people, consent to be governed. We, the people, provide all of the funding that this school district spends. We, the people, provide all of the support that this district operates on. And we, the people, deserve to have absolute full disclosure and transparency in all matters of the school board, not just financial, but you know, I'm probably going to say financial as well. The thing is, in past meetings, board members have made comments throughout the meeting, and when the public comes up to address what has been said, they have been told you're not allowed to say that because you're not allowed to address a board member specifically. However, that's definitely a violation of my right to speak. And that is, if you're saying something at a board meeting, I have a right to address the comments that have been made. And it doesn't mean that it has to happen in a confrontational, aggressive manner, but I have a right to say what needs to be said. And you, in your role as a board member, if it bothers you that people come here and point out what is said by board members in the meeting, then maybe this isn't the role for you. But that being said, I want to make sure that some of the comments that I address are that there is financial analysis, there is financial discussion that goes on. And my points with asking you all to do more and be more transparent is I would like to see you go through every spending line of the budget while you're making a budget, every spending line while you're going over the results. We have the highest number of low-performing schools in the state of Florida, and yet we're asking for more money and a higher millage rate. Why, as a taxpayer, should I be trusting you to spend more money when I don't even know that you're spending the money you have in a fiscally responsible manner? Also, I'd like to know, property values are escalating at a very high rate, which means that the funding that will be coming in through property taxes with no millage increase will already be higher. Well, as a taxpayer, I'd really like to know how that funding will actually look in the fall. And I know that there are estimates that can be done. I did sit as a Temple Terrace City Council person. We did use millage rates to fund our general fund, and we did get estimates. So that's all I'm asking for.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Kelly Carling. I'm the mother of 4 children attending Hillsborough Public Schools. This school board wasted $9 million to score cheap political points against the DeSantis administration. Over 500 concerned parents, teachers, and staff have now signed a petition asking for you, the school board, to rectify the loss of $9 million for violating the Florida Department of Health's emergency rule. When the board voted to impose a mandatory mask mandate without a parental opt-out, the district became ineligible for the school recognition funds. These funds reward hardworking teachers and staff for maintaining or improving their school rating. Now, a school like Plant High School, which received $234,000 previously, will be getting nothing. At a time when the board is vigorously arguing for a tax hike to increase teachers' salaries and fill the thousands of vacancies, I'm baffled as to why you have ignored our offer to partner with you and try to work with the governor's office to recoup those lost funds. The optics are not good. It looks like you're trying to score cheap political points with the governor rather than putting students and teachers first.
Thank you. Next speaker, and if the next four would line up, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Gephards. I would like to play just a short excerpt from the last board meeting just to give context for what I'm going to talk about today, if that's okay.
So in 2022, notebooks have been challenged in all these schools?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and where can somebody find the process if they'd like to challenge the book?
Through the chair, Mr. Connor, is that process online?
Through the chair, yes, ma'am. You can find that on our instructional materials on Library Media Services webpage. All the instructions are available in terms of how to challenge and reconsider any books that they would like to within that school, that individual school. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We've had so much public comment around that, and I was just curious about the number of books that have been challenged.
Okay, so I would like to clear the record. At the time of that board meeting when those statements were made, this process you spoke of did not exist anywhere online. I did my research, I followed the instructions. There were no forms on any websites, school, or district. So I sent an email on April 24th, and I got a reply. Mrs. DeFusco will be adding that form to our website so the public can easily access it. This is a problem. So either someone was being untruthful or made a very large blunder. This book challenge process has been repeatedly touted from this dais recently. And the problem is it didn't exist. That's probably why it hasn't been used over the last 10 or 11 years, as was also declared in the last board meeting. So now the book challenge instructions have been added to the district website. However, the form for the public to fill out comes with the word sample plastered all across the middle of it, which just adds one more bureaucratic layer to this nonsense, forcing the parents to do more work to challenge a book like this one. Push by Sapphire. Please, I'm going to issue an explicit content warning right now. Please, if you have small children, remove them quickly. Push by Sapphire, which I have shared with the school board members this week through email and have received one response, which was not receptive, but a little defensive. 10 copies in our schools, currently checked out by a child in youth services, which to my understanding is our juvenile hall. Quote, about 3 months after baby born, I still 12 when all this happened. Mama slapped me hard. Then she pick up cast iron skillet. Thank God it was no hot grease in it. And she hit me so hard on back, I fall on floor. Then she kick me in ribs. Then she say, thank you, Ms. Clarice Precious Jones, for effing my husband, you nasty little slut. I feel like I'm gonna die. Can't breathe from where I have baby. Start to hurt. Fat cunt bucket slut. Nigger big pig bitch. He done quit me. He done left me because of you. What you tell them mother effers at that damn hospital. I should kill you, she's screaming at me. I'm lying on the floor, shaking, crying. Scared she gonna kill me. Get up, Miss Hot to Trot Mama say. Get your Jezebel ass up and fix some dinner before I give you something to cry about.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, school board. My name is Riley Gephards. I've been following what's been happening in Hillsborough County schools over the past few months, and it's sickening. There's no way that most of you on the board think that books like this have actual redemptive content in them. You're just afraid to do anything. These books that the system is allowing to exist, books involving rape, drug use, casual sex conversations, glorified suicides, orgies, bestialities, are an intentional desensitization of kids, an intentional ripping away of any innocence in youth. Yet the board's stance is that these books help these kids. Your logic escapes me. You want to introduce these terrible, horrible things to unsuspecting middle school kids. You're driving a wedge between kids and parents. If parents had any idea what was happening, they'd be completely outraged. This is grooming, according to every definition of the word, normalizing all of this behavior, pretending like it is what these kids' lives are made up of, as if everyone is doing it all the time, as if this is what 7th grade sex ed Leah Malik is teaching them, things that they need to know. This is what I've read about the Leah Malik sex ed, as if 7th graders actually want to be involved in this degeneracy. I don't think the board actually believes that there's anything good in these books. If you do think that these books should be in these libraries, you should be in prison for giving pornography to minors. Except I don't think that you guys actually believe that this is good content. I just think that you're afraid to do something, and that's just as bad as the people that think that it is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Noelle Oakman. I'm a mother of 3. Last month, I came and spoke again regarding the quality of the literature chosen for our public school libraries. I uncomfortably read explicit passages from a book, one of hundreds, in hopes of some responsible action would be taken. Please know that many other parents feel just as strongly as I do, yet most of these adults are not comfortable reading aloud in public from the books that you believe are appropriate for our children to read in private. Today, I want to bring attention to another book titled Identical by Ellen Hopkins. While this book also contains plenty of graphic teen sex and multiple uses of profanity, that really seems to pale in comparison to the main themes of this book, which include incest, rape, and depression. But then, to make it worse, they glamorize bulimia, alcohol, pills, cutting, casual sex, and finally suicide as solutions to deal with the pain. For the sake of time, I can only read a little. I'll also issue an explicit warning if you have small children. However, the portions that I'll be reading are mild because I could not bring myself to actually read the repeated graphic depictions of a father molesting his 10-year-old child while her sister's in the room. It's from the daughter's perspective, and it starts out, it's dark, it's disturbing, it's hard to read. I'm an adult, I'm married. I struggled with this and could not even imagine a child reading what I had to read last night. It got progressively more violent. I also left out other portions of rape, her fantasizing having sex with her older teacher. So here's some mild portions of the book. Page 236, most people hate to vomit. They can't stand the protest of an upset stomach. Okay, I don't like that part much myself, but I do like the cool of the porcelain on my face and my belly emptied, even temporarily, of food, of fat, of pain. Now that I've evacuated my stomach, I can swallow the oxy, pop the pill, chase it with whiskey, crawl into bed, and pray such seduction brings dreamless sleep. Page 316, I've heard exsanguination is a pleasant enough way to go. Bleeding out, ebbing away one heartbeat ever slower at a time, thump, 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 until you look death right in the eye and decide that you like what you see. Page 471, I want drugs, liquor, fun, more drugs, better drugs. Maybe it's time to graduate from pot, hash, and pills to something stronger. I wonder what heroin's like. I hear it drops you way down where pain can't find you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Mark Luther Largo. Well, first of all, you can't have good optics with DeSantis. That's for sure. Here we have 603, ramps and platform systems for modular, portable, relocatable buildings. Wrong kind of buildings. 708 through 713. All kinds of wrong buildings. And then we have these posters by the children's out there. Seems like they know more about what's going on than you do, doesn't it? They want the future protected, but the buildings that you're making, all wrong. Headline, Earth's carbon dioxide levels at the highest level in 4 million years. Hotter future is certain, UN says, urging immediate action to ease perils. And then I've had this here a number of times, giving aging buildings a green makeover. Developers are devising ways to retrofit New York's oldest structures to reduce their carbon footprints. But your buildings keep on belching. Only big steps will save Earth. Bird emergency, 2/3 at risk. Moms for Liberty and Education Army bills should read Moms for Stupidity. Past 7 years have been the planet's hottest by far. Record warmth has melted oldest, thickest Arctic ice. Reports, sea rise is clear and present risk. And here, this is a template for which your buildings should resemble. Net zero energy use. A ratio. You notice the west wall, east walls don't have any glazing. You can't get it right. The planet is in peril. This is your legacy. And the children will suffer. It's your legacy. A doggone shame.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. And if the next 3 speakers would line up, please.
I too would like to issue a warning for anyone with children in the building. I'm going to be reading straight from a 7th grade lesson that would be given to my daughter this week had I not opted her out. I believe that parents need an opt-in because these slides were buried, hidden, and I had been requesting this information by email since October. I emailed you all, the board, once I received this information, went through 122 slides, which I believe in my heart, had you looked through, you would have objected to as well. But because you want our 7th graders to sit through this, I want to read it to you. Malik has been with Leah for almost a year. Leah has been bringing up whether they should start having sex, and Malik's trying to figure out whether the time is right. He's never had sex before, and he's nervous about getting Leah pregnant or getting an STD. Leah had sex once, but it didn't work out. Malik's curious, but he's not sure whether the time is right. He's got a lot of plans for the future, and if he ends up getting Leah pregnant, or if either of them get a serious STD, that could impact his hopes for a successful career. Malik's best friend has had sex and regularly asks Malik what he's waiting for. He's even asked Malik a few times whether he's nervous because he likes guys, not girls. Malik watches porn when he's alone and is nervous about whether he'll know what to do. Malik's parents are very religious and they don't talk about sex or sexuality except to talk about abstinence and waiting for marriage. Malik has 3 older siblings, but they don't live near him, and he doesn't consider himself close to any of them. Sometimes when Malik gets stressed out or nervous, he drinks. That's when he feels most comfortable talking about sex with Leah, and when he feels like they're really close. Teachers were supposed to give this out, and there's actually another side of this where it's written from the other person's point of view. And then the children were supposed to break into small groups and discuss drinking, porn, and having sex. Then each student was going to be reading each paragraph to the class. I can't imagine a child reading about porn and sex with their peers and discussing it like it's a casual thing. Where's Malik's parents? Where's Leah's parents? 7th graders are 12 and 13. Do you really think this is appropriate? I dug a little deeper, and the CDC seems to have funded a grant that Hillsborough County accepted, and that grant is full of CRT. It's woke. And I don't even like those terms. I'm a realist. I know kids see things. But when I give them to you to go to school, I don't want them seeing it. And for other parents that are okay with it, do it in your own home. Every family looks different, but we should guard the children to the most highest extent, keeping it as innocent as possible. Teach them sex ed, but not porn.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth Thomas. I'm a parent in the district. In March, our group of invested parents proposed a partnership with the school district to advocate and assist in activities to reclaim the Florida School Recognition funds that were lost due to blatant disregard for parent choice. I'd like to just use these 3 minutes to inform our community and elected officials that we miscalculated the board's desire to engage in a community-driven approach. It is clear to us that political theater is more engaging, and bylaws and an oath of office are simply for optics. The patterns of inconsistency in the messages at these board meetings are boundless. The entire community must be on high alert and not distorted by this public relations vehicle called a board meeting. How can a school board make a decision that directly takes $9 million in bonus pay out of staff and teachers' pockets, dismiss its importance, but say that their priority is the employees? The administration stated in a previous board meeting that the district is financially stable. And last month, a board member claimed $117 million in new property tax revenue is expected based on increased property values this year. With all of that, the board voted to ask taxpayers to pay more in a property tax referendum. Is there a paradox we're all missing? In closing, and for the benefit of the community members that are dedicated to those that educate our children, we will continue to stand up where the school board will not. We are now working directly with the Department of Education because we are committed to doing everything we can with all of our alliance partners to hold elected officials to the highest of standards without burdening teachers, staff, and students.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm a little nervous because this is a lot, to listen to before I come up here, so I'm a little bit distracted. My name is Gwen Henderson. I am a 28-year teacher at Jefferson High School. And, well, I've been there for 22 years, but a 28-year educator in Hillsborough County. And I also graduated from Jefferson. So I'm very emotional right now. I didn't want to be, but I saw Van Ayers, and that kind of threw me off. So I actually am here not just about Jefferson per se, but I'm here, for all schools, because I read the superintendent's strategic plan, which I've done a few times, and increasing student engagement is important. Being culturally respectful of differences is important, but not when it's time to graduate from high school. We tell kids to be engaged, to be involved. We ask our community to support us, but at graduation, principals, as my students would say, are doing too much. Administrations are doing too much when they make decisions about what you can wear on your person at graduation. And actually, it's none of your business to a point. It should not matter to you that someone wears a button representing their grandmother, a medal that their teacher gave them for a club, or a custom stole that actually celebrates the things that you accomplished when you were in high school. I would hate for someone to be at graduation, and before they walk on stage, an administrator makes a terrible decision to decide that you can't wear that because it doesn't match what everybody else is wearing. We teach them to respect each other's differences, but when it's time to express who you are and what you represented while you were in high school, it's a problem. And it's not just Jefferson. There are other schools who say, we want you to look exactly alike. You're just doing too much. You shouldn't be concerned. Thank you. You shouldn't be concerned about a simple detail that doesn't hurt graduation. You should be more concerned about a ceremony going very well. not having major distractions, students grabbing mics, acting the fool, as my mother would say, on stage. Those are the things that you should be concerned about. I have 30 seconds left, so, oh my gosh. Gosh, 3 minutes is fast. I'm wearing a stole right now from King High School. I actually made this stole. And this is not a Jefferson stole, so I'm not discriminating. I just want you to know that it is important that students should have a right to express themselves, and principals need to get out of the way. That's just the bottom line. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I believe I saw children in the room. I'm going to give you a warning right now. This is extremely explicit. I'm going to talk for a second and give you a chance to take them out. I'm going to be reading from Lucky by Alice Sebold. There are 19 copies in the Hillsborough County schools. They're in high schools. And in addition to explicit sexual content, the book also contains illicit drug use. I hope I can reclaim some of my time. Are they out? I watched him as he unzipped his pants and let them fall around his ankles. He lay down on top of me and started humping. He worked away on me, reaching down to work with his penis. I stared right into his eyes. I was too afraid not to. He called me bitch. He told me I was dry. I'm sorry, I said. I never stopped apologizing. I'm a virgin, I said. Stop looking at me, he said. Shut your eyes. Stop shaking. I can't. Stop it or you'll be sorry. I did. My focus became acute. I stared harder than ever at him, and he began to knead his fist into the opening of my vagina, inserting his fingers into it 3 or 4 at a time. Something tore. I began to bleed there. I was wet now. That made him excited. He was intrigued. As he worked his whole fist into my vagina and pumped it, I went to my brain. Stop staring at me, he said. I'm sorry, I said. You're strong, I tried. He liked this. He started humping me again, wildly. The base of my spine was crushed into the ground. Glass cut me on my back and behind. He kneeled back. Raise your legs, he said. Spread them. I did. My legs were like plastic Barbies, inflexible. But he wasn't satisfied. He put a hand on each calf and pressed them out farther than I could hold. Keep them there, he said. He tried again. He worked his fists. He grabbed my breasts. He twisted the nipples with his fingers, lapped at them with his tongue. Tears came out of the corners of my eyes and rolled down either cheek. I was heaving now, but then I heard sounds. On the path, people, a group of laughing boys and girls passing. I looked at him. He did not hear them. This was it. I made an abrupt scream, and as soon as I did, he shoved his hand in my mouth. Simultaneously, I heard laughter again, and this time it was directed toward the tunnel, toward us. Yells, taunts, good time noises. We lay there. His hand locked my mouth, pressed down hard into my throat until the group of well-wishers left. He ordered me to stand up, told me I could put on my panties. I thought it was over. I was trembling, but I thought he'd had enough. Blood was everywhere, so I thought he'd done what he'd come for. I want to ask you and the library expert what culture this serves. Can any one of you tell me why this material would be purchased and distributed in our schools?
Thank you. Next speaker, please. And if the final few speakers line up, I'd appreciate it. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Alyssa. I'm here to ask each of you a few questions. If you could provide me with your home addresses, your cell phone numbers, your home cell phone number, or your home numbers, and your emails. I'd also like for all the administrators of each school's personal information, along with media specialists and approval committees. It sounds crazy, right? Sounds like an invasion of privacy and not exactly the safest way to protect your home or your family, providing that information to everyone. However, this is the information that is expected from us as a citizen who wants to challenge any inappropriate books. For each school and each book, that's over 300 schools, administrators, media specialists, and whoever else is looking over that form that when we challenge each book. Why would a person challenging these books feel protected and safe with all of their personal information in the hands of the same people who approve these very sexual, explicit books into the hands of our children? Why do we as concerned parents have to provide all of this information, but you refuse to provide us with any information on who are the people who approve these books for our children and how they're decided on books being approved? Now, a few questions about this hand-picked committee. Have each of these members who approve these books read or viewed them in their entirety? Since that is a box that anyone who challenges a book must check. They've read these books in their entirety, which I would be nervous to know the answer to that question, and it raises red flags, because any human being who has read these books and thinks they are acceptable for children should not be around children at all. And if they haven't read them in their entirety, how can they confirm it's a book that meets their requirements? My next concern comes straight from the Hillsborough County Public School District Library Media Center Management Policies and Procedures for the Selection of Materials. It contains school library media specialists, teachers, and administrators. Why are no parents involved in the decision making for the content that is placed in our schools? The media specialist selects the best books and materials that satisfies the needs, interests, and the curriculum requirements of each individual school. What part of this sexual content does that satisfy for any of those? Education suitability, appropriateness for age and maturity. So books with rape, pedophilia, incest, drug use, and more, all age appropriate. Even books that have it printed on the back, not suitable for young readers. Now, the authors of these books don't believe they're meant for young readers, but our committee does. This is where it gets scary as a parent, as a child in the school district. Book and media materials are picked to follow the philosophy and goals of this school district, consistent with the educational goals of the school district. Really? Sexual grooming of our children, introducing them to this content at any age meets the philosophy of Hillsborough County Public School Districts? That's disgusting.
Thank you. Final speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Drew Lewis, and I'm 22 years old. I recently moved from the frigid state of Illinois to be in the beautiful state of Florida, where the sun shines, freedom reigns, and I thought my personal values would be better represented. I'm young, working hard, and starting out my life beyond school. I plan to live here in Florida, where I eventually plan on getting married and starting a family of my own. I am now paying taxes for these Florida institutions. I have been watching and keeping up to date on what has been happening in Hillsborough County schools over the past year as I've anticipated moving here. Hearing and seeing the wicked and despicable pornographic content that are in the books in our school library that our future generations are being subjected to is unlike anything I've seen even as a 22-year-old. The only people that should want to keep these books in our libraries are pedophiles and child groomers. There are no other excuses. Now, to give you some examples from a book called The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed, there are currently 87 copies of this book in the high schools and even in Burns Middle School. And here are some quotes. Nothing special about this one. Did her in the back of my car, then never called her back. 15-year-old freshman nobody. Got her so drunk she couldn't say no. Kind of messy and mostly just laid there, but busting a nut is busting a nut. 17-year-old chubby girl from school. I had a girlfriend and she had a boyfriend, but she got drunk at a party and he was out of town, and she told me she had a crush on me since the 6th grade. Fat girls are so easy. Mostly a pity fuck on my part. She was so grateful. 16-year-old followed me around at school for weeks like a puppy. She was so grateful when I finally kissed her at a party. Didn't take long to get her upstairs and naked. Boring and needy. 16-year-old hot girl from another school. Got her drunk and she immediately turned into a raging slut. Strung this one out for weeks until she started getting clingy and wanting commitment. Then I kicked her to the curb. The way that these books objectify young girls and make young boys think that this type of thinking is normal is disgraceful. I would love to know where our so-called feminists are on this issue and why they're not fighting for these books to be taken out immediately. Now to conclude, it is shameful that you, the school board, would sit there and do nothing to protect our kids from this repulsive material that is infesting our schools. Actions need to be taken immediately, and it is on you to do so.
Thank you. We will now move on to our recognitions. The recognition from Tampa Bay Lightning to Hillsborough County Public Schools for our partnership. Elizabeth Frazier, Executive Director of the Lightning Foundation and Senior Executive Vice President of Philanthropy and Community Initiatives. Elizabeth led a transformation of the Lightning Foundation and the Lightning Community Relations Departments under the ownership of Jeff Vinnick, including the development of the Lightning Community Heroes Program, which just recently honored our Teacher of the Year and the Hillsborough Education Foundation at a recent game. Elizabeth is here this evening to make a presentation to the district in honor of the amazing partnership we've developed together to strengthen our students and schools. Welcome, Elizabeth. Please come to the podium at this time. And you are here. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
members of the board, Superintendent Davis. Thank you so much for having me here and join you today. As you may know, we have a pivotal game 5 tonight up in Toronto that we're playing. But I did want to present you. With this plaque from our back-to-back championships from the last 2 years. It has a ring on it, a real authentic ring purchased from the Vinicks, as well as a plaque for Hillsborough County Public Schools. As you mentioned earlier, we have been under Mr. Vinnick's ownership. We've been truly blessed over the last 11 years and honored to partner with you in so many ways. And so we have this custom made for our community partners. And the number of programs that we've been honored to be able to help support really is in the dozens. And a particular note is next week on our community hockey team, we've distributed over 200,000 sticks and balls. While the team is doing great things on the ice, we're trying to grow the great game of hockey off the ice out in the community, and not only support philanthropic things out in the community, but also the growth of the game. So we're going to be visiting our 1,000th school next Thursday at Nelson Elementary here in Hillsborough County. We're going to be having 700 kids out there with clinics going, and we just really appreciate the support. We love being able to support the school district and other nonprofits financially through the generosity of the Vinicks, but also just the grassroots, the community activation, the way that we can all lead by example, and hopefully all of us do good in the community. We appreciate the partnership. So thank you for having me here today. So thank you all. Thank you.
And we really want to thank you for your commitment and also for the partnership. We really appreciate it. We will move on to our recognitions and proclamations. First one is the adoption of proclamation, the National Mental Health Awareness Month, May 10, 2022. Member Vaughn will be highlighting this proclamation.
Thank you. Through this proclamation, the district honors the entire Student Services Department, which consists of the teams that address mental health concerns and promote educational wellness in our district. They include school counseling services, school health services, school psychology services, school social work services, and the district mental health team. In addition, our community partnerships are invaluable to providing mental health services to our students and staff. In Hillsborough County Public Schools, more than 11,000 staff have been trained in youth mental health first aid, which promotes mental health awareness and access to appropriate services. This year, a mobile response team has been developed to support students experiencing a mental health crisis, and a student advisory board has been created to promote emotional wellness through public service announcements and an art contest highlighting mental health awareness. Professional development opportunities have been provided to mental health professionals and administration on topics such as de-escalation strategies, trauma-sensitive practices, anxiety, depression, and threat assessment.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. I need a motion, a second, to approve National Mental Health Awareness Month, May 10th, 2022. I have a motion by Member Perez, and I have a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? Member Perez?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Board Member Vaughn, for bringing up this proclamation. The theme for the Mental Health Month this year is Together for Mental Health, and it's so timely. Mental health today is entering more individual discussions, demonstrating how critical it is at all levels and that all have solid foundations and knowledge regarding mental health. In Hillsborough County Schools, our staff, provides the information regarding services within this district and community on what families can do to assist mental health and provide those resources for our students. Since 2020, the number of individuals seeking mental health resources has increased. And I would just like to remind everyone that mental health illness is real and recovery is possible. And we do have the tools and resources here in Hillsborough County Schools, and we are here to assist anyone to navigate any and all challenges and concerns related to seeking and securing assistance related to their mental health and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Gray?
Very timely. Thank you, Member Vaughn, for sharing that very important initiative and proclamation. We are reminded that any of us right now can go to a school, as every board member has, and when talking to the principals, when asked what is the number one concern, the return message is the mental health and wellness of our children. My children, because principals think of them as their children, and it is, I don't want to say insurmountable, but we definitely, Superintendent Davis, have a huge challenge. And every day that goes by, there is so many cries for urgency, attention, and I only say this because the proclamation indicates a reminder for each of us to reach out and do those acts of kindness, support each other, be collaborative, be a friend, set the role model ourselves so the children can also be seeing us as comforting and adding a layer of security. Thank you very much again for having that read, Member Vaughn.
Thank you, Member Gray. And just briefly, I think that when you walk into a school every day, you're really seeing that not only are the teachers, you see the principals, and our students are really struggling. I think post-pandemic, we're really seeing that there are such large issues with kids who have been isolated and now coming back into the schools. And then we're seeing so many issues with housing, and there's so many issues. And I appreciate Superintendent Davis. We've talked a lot about continuing to work with our counselors, working with mental health, supporting our social workers, our psychologists. Now more than ever, we really need everybody to come in and make sure that we're aware and we're recognizing and we're seeing the patterns, because often you don't see the patterns at home, but you're seeing them at school. So really, it's, I say that IQ is important, but EQ is just as important. We need to make sure our kids are feeling strong, they're feeling healthy, they feel like they can go to a teacher or they can go to a paraprofessional and talk to someone. And I just want to continue to make sure that every day we're aware of this and the needs of our students now more than ever. And thank you, Superintendent Davis, for continuing to do this work. And Kim Bays, looking at different ways that we can reach students that may not look like they traditionally did. Maybe telehealth, different areas that we can continue to support our children, I think is extremely important at this time. So please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The adoption of proclamation on National School Nurse Day, May 11, 2022. Member Hahn will be highlighting this proclamation.
Thank you, Chair Combs. May 11, 2022 has been designated National School Nurses Day in the United States. This day provides us an opportunity to recognize the importance of school nurses and observe all they do for our school community. School nurses ensure the physical, mental, and emotional well-being and safety of our students and school employees. They act as case managers between the school, home, and healthcare providers, and they determine how to address the student's illnesses and when the child should go home, go to a hospital, or go back to class. Since the beginning of this school year, school nurses have cared for nearly 420,000 student injuries and illnesses in the clinic and provided 53,000 procedures to students with chronic health conditions across our schools.
I need a motion, a second, to approve National School Nurses Day, May 11, 2022. I have a motion by Member Gray and I have a second by Member Perez. Any discussion? Member Gray?
First off, I want to thank the 307 or 10 nurses that we have in our schools. They are everywhere, and they're doing more than just the physical wellness. They interface also again the mental wellness and of our students, and they're a very important liaison to tell and to share with both parents and their teachers how the child is doing. So our nurses are carrying a very large load, but they're very devoted and they're dedicated. And so in my mind, and I thank Member Hahn also for reading this and recognizing our nurses. And thank you, all nurses out there. And thank you, Dr. Maria Ross, our director, who's in charge of our nurses. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, as a practitioner that works with nurses on a daily basis, I so appreciate our nurses because they catch things that many doctors don't. They're the first ones to see, you know, the patient, our students, and they have eyes on those kids. They're fabulous. So thank you, nurses out there, because, you know, you're the first ones on the ground seeing these kids, and when you send them home, there's a reason. But thank you so much for what you do on a daily basis. I know I appreciate you so totally. Thanks.
Thank you, Member Perez. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Recognition of Kids Tag Art winners. Member Gray, along with Nancy Milan, Hillsborough County Tax Collector, will be highlighting this recognition.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to see some slides, and we're actually going to be thanking Ms. Nancy C. Milan, our tax collector. This is the first year of this fundraiser, and our students took it very seriously. And the fifth grade students in Title I schools were invited to design their own front-facing vanity license plate, and the board members got to see it last board meeting. It was really impressive. Thank you, Laura Hobby and Suncoast, and I'm sure there's other folks right up there, Deborah Bolante. Can't remember the other person's name, but I think I better let Nancy Milan take over. So
thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, board members, for allowing us to be here today. I am very proud as this is our first annual Hillsborough County Tax Collector Kids Tag Art Program. We're here with Gary Vane from Suncoast Credit Union and Cindy Helton is also from the foundation, who are our title sponsors who helped us launch this program. The cool thing is this allows our students from Title I fifth grade classrooms to display and showcase their artistic abilities by designing these license plates. The proceeds from all the license plates and sponsorship goes back to the participating schools to help support their art programs. This was initiated back about 15 years ago at Polk County Tax Collector's Office, and since then there's a number of counties that have jumped on board. I'm happy to be the first in Hillsborough County to do this, and I can't wait to see what happens next year. We are really proud. We had 30 of 91 Title I schools who participated, and the program, the parents, family members, and the public are able to purchase these online. And with this program, we raised $33,769 in our first year. What that means, it's our first year, and I was hoping to get to 50, but next year is another story. But what this does is $1,200, at least a minimum of $1,200 will go back to each of those participating art teachers. So they will get $1,200 back, and they will be able to spend that on projects and art supplies in their classrooms. So in addition to that, we also were able to recognize some top student winners from the participating schools. We had we gave them prizes. We had PDQ, who was another one of our sponsors. We had the Top Choice Award for Suncoast Credit Union. They picked a young lady. Her name is Nayeli Denova Vargas. She's from J.S. Robinson Elementary. We went to see her yesterday. And we had a second, which was the Tax Collector Choice Award, which is the one that we're displaying here, Noeli Pena from Bay Crest Elementary. We were so proud of these students, and they were just thrilled. Their art teachers were thrilled to have us there and know that we're out there. I know the Tax Collectors is not a fancy, I'm trying to make it so that people know that we're more than just collecting your taxes, and we're a part. It's important that you know that we're there, and we want to be participating in our community and giving back in any way we can. And this was something that was easy for us, but really benefits our kids and teaching them a little bit about our office. So we are so grateful. Thank you to Suncoast. Thank you to, let me just name off some of our sponsors. We had Suncoast Credit Union, Brooks Family Foundation. Derek Brooks is a huge fan of this program as well. PDQ, Florida West Coast Credit Union, Wild Architecture, and Miss Peggy Land were our sponsors this year. So thank you to all of them, and I look forward. I also wanted to recognize Hillsborough Education Foundation for their partnership in this initiative. They helped us with collecting the funds throughout the entire campaign. And Miss Laura Hobby, your district art director, thank you so much. She was instrumental in helping deploy the program to all the art teachers. She's been an essential part of this project, and we're looking forward to working with her next year. Thank you to our superintendent for being supportive of this and helping us launch it in the summer. So we're working tirelessly again this summer, getting it ready for teachers next year, and hopefully bring you a larger check. Thank you so much.
Nancy,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
forgot one person. The partnership with you, of course, is very meaningful, but we forgot Linda Cox, who also.
Oh, yes, and she was recognized, yes.
She was, the Tampa Bay Times Teacher of the Year.
Yes.
So, boy, oh boy, we want to thank her as well.
From Baycrest, yes.
From Baycrest, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know Superintendent Davis, you had a couple comments?
Yes, ma'am. And we, through the chair, we cannot appreciate each of you enough for pushing this initiative to our students and allowing this competition to take place. And it's so beautiful for our children to be able to display their passions and also their skills. But this is a message to every one of our elementary principals, our Title I principals are out there. This is the challenge. We have 30 schools this year that will get $1,200. We'll make sure we rub that when they get that check. We'll rub it in a principal's meeting to make it competitive, to be able to grow it next year. But thanks Suncoast as well, and Nancy, thank you as well. And Debbie and Laura Hobby has hit the ground running this year. She is everywhere. So we look forward to doing cool things, and we appreciate your partnership.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for the partnership. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I need a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. It passes unanimously. The consent agenda has been approved. I will now call on Superintendent Davis to highlight our administrative appointments.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, we'd like to take a moment to highlight some of our new leaders for the 22-23 school year. We know that we have so many of our educators that are retiring, that have given so much best effort. If you're retiring, please stand up. Principals, leaders, if you're here, thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Well, thank you for your continued dedication, but I want to recognize new journeys for a bunch of our new leaders who have been remarkable in the last 2 years. And thank you to our team for really working, because one of the most important positions in this organization is the leader, where they empower teachers, focus on the well-being, provide strategic planning, they're analytical, they're building a climate and culture, they're talent managers, they're operational experts, they're instructional leaders. And it really takes a lot nowadays to be able to lead a school and lead a cohort of teachers to truly do some special things for children. So I want to recognize those individuals. When I call your name, please come up. First, moving from Dowdell Middle School is Johan von Aken. He began his career in 2001 in Hillsborough County, was a teacher at many places, administrator at Tampa Bay Tech, Robinson, Hillsborough High School, Eisenhower, current principal now at Dowdell. And congratulations to be the new executive director of high schools. Also moving to Appreciate Levy Technical Center is Mr. Jesse Salters. Please come up. He has been began in education in 2004 at SLI. and has done some really cool things. He's been at Blake for a very long time. We appreciate your efforts, but congratulations on your new journey. We look forward to being a partner in this work. Congratulations, Jesse. We have a new leader at Barrington Middle School who started her career in the ELA department at Durant, was an instructional mentor the last 5 years as an APC, currently at East Bay, and that is Miss Andrea Cummins, which will be the new principal at Barrington. Also, this gentleman had a chance to come here last year, and we put him at the, had a chance to recruit one of the best principals in the school districts to be a regional superintendent. She, fell in love with, understood how much she loved the principalship, and she was a regional superintendent for a year, and she goes, you know what, I really got to go back and work with kids, and why not put her back to a school where she did some really cool things, and after talking to Mr. Williams, who she worked with diligently this year, Mr. Williams understands a new opportunity. He will be the new principal at Benito Middle School. Mr. Williams, come on up. 22 years of service in education as a teacher, peer evaluator, assistant principal, and principal. There's no way that what are we doing back there? You get stuck? You're a middle school principal. You're on roller skates every day. 22 years. Congratulations. Was at Sly Middle School as well. Did some really cool things with Anthony Jones. Congratulations, sir. All right, next. I have an opportunity to, an individual that is now going to be the new principal at Buchanan Middle School. Jamal Crook, please come up. He began his career in 2012. He taught at many places, Chamberlain, Brandon, Monroe. He was a assistant principal at Bloomingdale as well, now the APC at Ben Hill. He now will be the new leader at Buchanan Middle School, and congratulations. And I told him, it's very different from being an AP to a principal. Best of luck. We're here to support you. You'll do great. You'll do great things. Also, I don't know what's going on at Bloomingdale. Maybe I blame Sue Burkett, who's a great leader as well, or just give her, tip my hat of being able to really build the capacity of leaders and being ready. And look at Nate. He's ready to go. He's walking down. I got you, Crook. His buddy, his partner in this work is the new principal at Eisenhower Middle School is Nate Francis. He will have been in education since 2005, understands instruction, understands how to bridge a community, will have high expectations and groom and grow a great educational environment at Eisenhower. Congratulations, Nate. And then also, this is the individual I just, gave some props. You got to come up here if you're going to, decide to go back to a school and lead some cool things. 24 years in Hillsborough County. Come on, April Gilliard. She's like, I'm not coming up here. That's right. Current regional superintendent loves it. This will tell you principals, the best job to have is being a principal. And she'll tell you and I'll tell you. And it means you get so much impact with students, the community, and our children and our families. So welcome back to Memorial. Woo-woo! We had to beg her to come out of Memorial. We did not have to beg her to go back. She was like begging us. Also, we have a leader that has done some exceptional work with exceptional students for many years at Mendez and Dorothy Thomas. It is now the new principal at Monroe Middle. You see this Kim John. You see the energy, the intensity, and the walk. Calling me, telling me what she needs to go lead her school. This is, I just say, yes, ma'am. And we go and we rock and roll. And she's going to be a great leader. Thank you, and thank you for your leadership. Also, we have an opportunity to take a skilled leader. It's been 4 years at West Chase Elementary School. She's been really great. She gets a chance to go nearby, close by, to lead some cool work at Mary Bryant, and that is Elise Suarez. Congratulations to you. Thank you. And also a young man that's been in this school district since 1996. He's taught at many schools at Forest Hills, I think, Seffner, Pride, Dunbar, He's been at River Hills at IB for 11 years and will transition to the new principal of Childs Elementary School, Mr. Todd Connolly. Congratulations. Nurturing, ma'am? I know, right? He's back there. He was nurturing his baby. He's doing a really good job. He's ready to go. Good leader. Excited for him. Also, I want to say this. We have a new leader going to Dawson Elementary School, but I want to give props to Jennifer West. Jennifer West was our gifted supervisor and lead who's led all of our work. We asked her to step into Dawson in a very difficult time, but I can tell you this. We have Jasa Womack, who's been their assistant principal. She's been there since 2010, and she's done a wonderful job. Jennifer, I'm sorry, you got to come on up too. Jennifer did a really good job the last couple of months to really show a sense of care. Show a sense of care to this community. And she's been doing both roles of driving gifted at the same token supporting the school. But Miss Womack is ready. She's ready to go. I had a chance to meet with her today. Congratulations. And welcome to Dawson. Also, Adobe had an opportunity to find a leader. He's been an AP at Apollo Beach, an AP at Core. He has really magnificent skills related to instructional culture, and look forward to him. He's also an adjunct teacher, I believe, at UT. That's right. So he does some extra work as well. He's a new principal at Adobe Elementary School, Mr. Bradley Fuller. All right. Time to go to work. You got to call UT, tell them there's no time. So sorry. Just kidding, UT, if you're watching, you're a great partner. Also, we have, it's hard to find some of our leaders that get recognized to the state of being credentialed to be able to move the work in some of our schools and our transformational network. And we have to really find leaders that have systemic change and proven competence. And the state has to approve leaders. And we have an opening at James Elementary School. And this leader kept coming on the list in our county. And we know he's done some really cool things in early childhood. But he is going to be the next principal at James Elementary School. This is a great leader. And we thank you for what you've done the last 2 years in early childhood. That work will continue. So thank you so very much, sir. Thank you. And he's also moved to school from an F to a B before in the school district. So we look forward to doing some of the same things at James. So thank you for your leadership, Mr. Murphy. Also, we have a new leader going to Lewis Elementary School, been in Hillsborough County since 2000. She was a school counselor and AP. It was an AP at Davis, also a principal at Town and Country, principal at currently at Folsom, and really to transition back to Lewis going to Lewis Elementary School. Thank you for your leadership, and we look forward to you doing some really cool things, Mrs. Babinetz. Melissa. And then also we have a leader that's been a principal in Lithia Springs since 2016, has had a systemic A's, done a really good job in this environment. Really needed him to transition and go to Mintz Elementary School, and that is Mr. Kevin Martin. Thank you for your leadership. We look forward to some cool things from you, sir. Then also we have an individual that's began her career in 2002 in Hillsborough County, has done some really cool work, principal at Lake Mag, principal at Temple Terrace for the last couple years, and now will transition to River Hills Elementary School. Mrs. Crystal Brown, congratulations. And then also looking for, continued leaders that understand Hillsborough County, understand the fast pace, understand how to build a community of leaders and teachers that are inspired and are very analytical. This individual has continued to be driven. He's been an AP since 2010, 4 schools he's led at. This is a new principal at Robinson Elementary School, Mr. Timothy Delgado. Congratulations. All right, last one. Uh-oh, sorry, I clicked it too much. Also looking for leaders that, that have had really been a staple in the Tampa Palms community. She was an AP. She was a principal, I think 18 years. Is that right, Marianne? Yes. 18 years. Tampa Palms and this community will miss you dearly, but understand a new opportunity and a new door opens will be in Schmidt Elementary School. Mrs. Marianne Lippick will be the new principal. Congratulations to you, and thank you for all that you've done in that community, because they do love you. Then also looking for leaders to go to Seffner, and individual that started his career in 2000 at McDonald Elementary School, was at AP at Mosey, also at Shaw, 4 years principal at Shaw as well. We'll go to Seffner Elementary School, Mr. Vanell Matherin. Then we had an individual started her career in 2000 at Kingswood, at Mitchell, AP at Lanier since 2013, has been the principal since 2018, moved Lanier from a C to a B. Another individual that qualified to go to Transformational Network as outlined by the Department of Education. Thank you for your hard work at Lanier. They will miss you. I know that completely. But we understand that you're hard and you're ready for a new challenge. And Mrs. Sarah Garcia will be the new principal at Shaw Elementary School. Congratulations. And then the next leader, is 15 years of administrative experience, most in the Fishhawk community, was an AP and principal at Beavis, also principal currently at McDonald. Gets a chance to kind of go home back to the Fishhawk community, and it makes sense to put Melanie Cochran at, Stowers Elementary School. Congratulations. I appreciate all of the leaders and all the support that you have. Everyone that's a family member or a colleague that's here to support these leaders, they will need you as they transition to new facilities, okay? That means there may be a lot of early mornings, a lot of evening events and nights to get to better understand their schools, their communities, but please care about them, understand it, and know that we're here to support them as well. We look forward to some great things from each of you as we turnkey and help our children excel inside and outside of our classrooms. Congratulations, and have a good night. Go home.
Yes. Yes, congratulations to all of you. And we'll give you a few minutes to go ahead and exit, but I just want to say congratulations to each and every one of you, and thank you.
We were going to lose her.
Okay, just about another minute, and then we'll continue with our meeting. The following items will now be heard. C-1001, C-402, C-403, C-608, C-609, C-610, C-612, C-614, C-616, C-618, C-620, C-718, and E-1201. We'll begin with 1001. Superintendent Davis will be highlighting this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is an amendment to the original contract that was, that's currently have in place for Focus Academy. They are currently a 9 through 12 serving students with exceptional students with access points, which they serve around 101 students, and they're asking for an amendment to be able to transition to offer services to students from 6 through 12, adding 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The projection of this process is for them to have around 130 students for next school year, if approved, and then they will be on the renewal cycle for the 22-23 school year. This is located in the Temple Terrace. They opened up in 2013 and renewed originally in 2018, and their next renewal will be in 22-23.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-1001. I have a motion by Member Gray, and I have a second by Member Hahn. Member Gray and Member Vaughn, you pull this item. We'll begin with you. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just was, I did dig into this, trying to keep up with the various charters, academies, etc. And I found that they did, well, we all should find that they did an excellent job with many things for an ESE population: autism, autism, intellectually disabled, and health impaired. So they found the right teaching and the right teachers and the right staff, big time emphasis of arts and music, and a lot of the drama therapy. Now, all this is very therapeutic and very important to our ESC population. Math classes, they have learning stations to target specific need areas. I wanted to say, and I shared this with Superintendent Davis, that they have a small population. Dr. Delane, how many students do they have there?
They have 101 students.
They have 100.
101 focus.
Yeah. So the only disappointment comes when we find out that our schools that also serve, and I don't understand this, but I would like to have the superintendent speak on this. So the other schools that are not exactly mileage close, but not that far, is Caminiti on Satisfactory, Lavoy Exceptional Center on Satisfactory, and Lopez Exceptional Center on Satisfactory. So this becomes a real big cry out that we need to improve our public availabilities and aspects of the ESE population centers. Superintendent Davis, what do you think on that? We have
Yes, Madam Chair. I think the biggest thing is to make certain when we look at Focus Academy and we try to look at the exceptional centers that we have in Hillsborough County, we've got to match what schools they have related to demographics they serve. They're more of a comparison to Menendez and Simmons, which is maintaining identified by the Department of Education. And if we look at the other schools that openly have been identified as unsatisfactory, they just have a different demographic that they serve. So Focus has 33% of the free and reduced lunch, whereas if you look at the other sites that we serve or serve in our district, it's around 89%. So there's a very different complexities, not only of exceptionalities that we serve, but also looking at the demographics as well. And we also got to go back and look at the current structure of the grades. The last grades and information that these schools received was from 18 and 19 versus what's happened the last couple of years. So we are working to be able to continue to provide ongoing supports to professional development to students, professional development to teachers and leaders, and making certain that we continue to improve that rating, which we hopefully will see in the coming years.
So thank you, Superintendent Davis. Our two takeaways are, number one, that we must pay attention to the fact that the actual student demographics population do effectively make a school's grades very much parallel. Also, second thing is we need to pay attention very closely to our ESE centers, and I think that was the message I want to convey. Let's make them commendable versus unsatisfactory, and even if the population is not as let's just say easy to be the most successful population, we've got to find a ways plural, to make those populations successful, and that's critical. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just curious, I perused the information, but I might have missed it. What is the process for a parent getting into this school?
Yes, Hi, Ms. Vaughn. It is lottery-based, but obviously it's a very small school right now, so they have space up to 150 students, I believe, so they have space, so they're not utilizing the lottery right now. And as long as they are ASD,
autism spectrum disorder, intellectually disabled, or other health impaired, they can attend.
Okay, actually, that's the only question I had for this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 402, additional one-time financial incentives for employees for 2021-2022 school year. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is an opportunity for us to provide a one-time financial incentives to every one of our employees within our school district. And this is in collaborations with all of our bargaining units that really focuses on providing our support staff, our instructional staff, paraprofessionals, administrative staff, all a one-time increase just to show that we continue to support them. We understand what they've been through over the last calendar year. We wish it is more, but the good thing is this funding will go on their FRS and assist with their top 5 recognition related to retirement. So this is, we appreciate all of the bargaining units coming to the table and working through this process and the board's approval as we move forward.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item C402. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Member Vaughn, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I did pull it because I thought we needed to talk about it. We spend a lot of time talking about our teachers and compensating them and, how important they are in our classroom. But I think it's important to highlight, all of the employees of the district and how important they are. I do have a question in regards to even though we're giving this one-time bonus, a lot of the employees will be moved because of the state legislation that's moving employees up from anything lower to $15 an hour, correct?
Right.
And so what I'm wondering is, the employees are seeing this one time, and know that they're getting this bonus, but are we letting them know to expect that come next year they're going to have a substantial raise and that they will be moved up to make sure that we're keeping retention of those employees who might be looking for employment elsewhere?
That will be part of our bargaining process when we go back to the table in June with both of our union groups. We'll be discussing the impact of minimum wage.
So it has to go through bargaining first before we can talk about. Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
So I think what I want to say on this one is the genesis is that we really do support our employees with the bus drivers and the paras. Many times folks don't really realize that school board members pay a lot of attention, and we certainly did. We had many sessions, and I'm glad, Superintendent Davis, we were able to give this incentive money, and we will work hard, as we have been, to continue making sure that we're paying attention to these very valuable employees. We have to take care of our employees and pay attention, and these are our point of service employees. So thank you, Superintendent Davis and board members, for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 403, Negotiated Transformation Network Memorandum of Understanding with Hillsborough Classroom Teachers Association and Employee Financial Incentives for the 2022-2023 school year. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. As we know, a couple years ago, the school district decided to move forward with an initiative called Spark, and that was to be able to recruit teachers or highly effective teachers to our underperforming schools. And I think it was a really smart strategy. Over the last year, the Department of Education has identified that we can only use 60% of the Title I funding towards Spark, whereas the entire budgeting process, Title I was going to pick up all of the funding incentives to our teachers and leaders that were transitioned to our achievement school zones at that particular time. With the adjustments of that, we had to go back to the table, and as Spark sunsetted this school year, and work with CTA to find additional funding sources to provide incentives as we move forward in the transformational network. And what this does is provide $5,000 additional pay for those teachers who are teaching and qualify in the transformational network, For teachers, it's $750 for paraprofessionals, $7,500 for principals, and $5,000 for assistant principals. And this is a way just to show value and care for our employees who go and serve some of our most needing schools, to help them continue to excel and create awesome expectations academically, socially, emotionally.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C403. I have a motion by Member Vaughn, and I have a second by Member Washington. Member Vaughn, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
I do, thank you. For teachers, in these schools and administrators, is there a quick compare and contrast between what might be different between this MOU and the previous Spark?
We do have that. The biggest thing is we went from, I think it was $7,500 to $5,000 that was for our teachers. And this was just about the affordability of finding an additional funding source that we are able to use. Historically, we're using all of Title I dollars and no longer can do that. So we had to be able to drill down and find sufficient funding to be able to do this. Now, there's also incentive pay from the Department of Education that is UNISIG funding, also school improvement funding that teachers can qualify up to $15,000 as a recruiting tool. That means that if they qualify for the $15,000 and the $5,000, we will not have to extend because they get whichever is the healthiest one, the one that's the greater increase. And we work through multiple funding sources to be able to identify that.
Thank you. Are you concerned that we're going to lose some teachers in these schools due to the differential?
Through the chair, I am not, because a lot of them qualify for the state initiative funding. And they're just, while we would love to give $7,500, we just don't have the funding to do so.
And was that part of this legislation, or what changed that doesn't allow us to use our Title I with flexibility in order to support that?
Ms. Brown, you want to speak about that? Because we've heard in the last year of this.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Through the chair, this is because of the Florida Department of Education. They established guidelines. Those guidelines allow us to pay the percent of teachers that represent the total percent of teachers that are effective or higher in their overall VAM score. So that percent for us is approximately 60% of our teachers are effective or higher, and of those teachers, those that are in core classrooms are the ones that Title I can fund.
And originally, they approved to use all of Title I funds, and to the last year, putting different guidelines in and changing the plans as we were implementing them, which we pushed back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 608, request for proposals, 22005 MST KJ HVAC coil cleaning. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is just an RFP for us to go out and conduct HVAC coil cleaning. We know that we have a number of our units that still need to make certain that we have updates with deep cleanings, with coil cleaning, also cooling towers, and looking at duct cleaning. So this is allowing, identifying two companies that have won this bid to be able to continue to serve our schools so we can make certain that we have efficient HVAC systems every single day within Hillsborough County.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C608. I have a motion by Member Gray, and I have a second by Member Washington. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, this comment will be an interesting one because it's not that the actual coil cleaning, and I'll address this to Mr. Farkas, is of question. My question is, and a concern, is that if I'm looking at these lists of bidders, and thank you for having more than 3 on every one of your vendors, how would we know if they're minority, contractors, or subcontractors? Now, the reason I'm asking is because more and more we are paying attention, thank you, Superintendent Davis, to minority contractors and subcontractors. And if we look at USF and they do the aggregate scoring of race and of their diversity, in other words, there's a scoring mechanism, and they actually indicate per contractor or subcontractor the score if they, lend themselves to minority status. So I was wondering if we can, Superintendent Davis, if we can do a better job with the verbiage And even if it's on the last part, as we can see company and it gives the descriptor, if we can put a scoring system such as what they do at USF, so we can know as board members, are they minority or not minority contractors and subcontractors? And I can get that information from you, but I did a little digging. Mr. Farkas?
Farkas?
We do. We have a small business encouragement program, which is underneath Dr. Vera Tirado. If you look on the score sheet, it actually has the scoring for that. It says utilization of HCPS registered small business enterprises. So we do score on that. We only do weighting on construction projects through that selection process for the WMB, so minority participation. The rest is a small business encouragement program. We could definitely do a one-on-one with board members because that's probably about a 25-minute explanation as to why we do one and not the other. But it's an important conversation for us to make sure we convey. So I'll make sure that we share that. But yes, it's listed on the scoring sheet as whether they're a small business. None of these are minority-owned businesses, and that's why there's not a perfect score of 10 on any of those. But it's on the last page of the document, page 5 of 5.
So,
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Member Ray.
So we can do a better job. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Farkas, in denoting?
Always. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I think Monica wants to talk. Miss Vera Tirado?
Thank you. I just want to add real quickly that additional to minority status is women and disabled veterans. So I think it's important that the public understand that there's a broad continuum of folks that are included when we think about our small or minority, women-owned or minority-owned businesses. So thank you.
Yeah, and I would love to be able to see that on the agenda when we deal with vendors. We'll talk more, but that's what I wanted to say on this example. Thank you, both of you, Mr. Farkas included. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 609, Amendment 1 of the Amendment for Technical Services 21178 ATS IV with Teach for America Incorporated. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is, through the chair, this is an amendment to the original contract we brought to the board for Teach for America. Originally, we thought they could stand up 40 educators by the school year. They've struggled throughout, like everyone else is as a vendor. So this is going back and taking the original contract from $200,000 to $100,000, from 40 educators to 20 educators, and being able to cut that price in half. So in helping them, with understanding our needs so they can find high quality educators to go and serve into low income communities. And so this is just making that adjustment financially and the number of educators that they'll be able to bring. They have not had any success to date, and we thought it would be very difficult to bring them at the middle of the year, but they are forecasted to bring up to 20 for next year. So we'll take every one that we can to be able to serve our most needing schools.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second to approve item C609. I have a motion by member. Come on. I don't have any motions. I have a motion by member Vaughn and a second by member Gray. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 610, request for proposals, RFP 22001 DST KJ, Title I Equitable Services for Private Schools. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Title I Equitable Services for Private Schools allows Hillsborough County to utilize a third-party provider to serve students and parents in need. And this provides ongoing professional development to teachers. They provide ongoing opportunities for parents about how to be educational advocates, and also being able to provide ongoing tutorials for students in the area of mathematics and English language arts. And there's around 4,900 students that are under this umbrella that transition to private schools. So this is a pass-through through our Title I dollars to be able to serve these students. And they have math and ELA services that are twice a week that we can continue to provide. That they can take advantage of Catapult. This has been a 15-year standing relationship with Catapult with our private entities. And this is a $4 million transfer of pass-through of funding to be able to support these families and students and also educators in the private sector.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C610. I have a motion by Member Hahn, and I have a second by Member Snively. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
I do. Ms. Brown, can you share with me the rationale? There is a jump from 2.3 million to 4 million. And I want to hear from you as to why you have pursued this. And then I'm going to jump right to the other subject, the family and community engagement. Can you share your rationale? There's definitely raise in expenditure.
Yes, ma'am. It's based on the number of students that are eligible. That number is based on students that are currently eligible for Title I services that are in our private schools. And that is what that is. That's why there was an increase. As you'll note, that there were approximately 2,000 kids that were served the prior year, and we have about over 4,000 that are eligible for that. And that amount is an up to $4 million amount.
You know, and I ask this because this is what I'm curious. We have another huge expenditure that we invested in. Actually, you did for the transformation and the Hispanic outreach, family and community engagement. And I saw also, and I heard this from a community, actually an African American business group. They noticed that it was a much lower amount. In other words, I found out 2 weeks ago that there was a rollover by you of $23 million, which really subtracted the efficacy, the fidelity of the FACE program. And I also found out that 2 employees were, in fact, eliminated from an email by you that suggested, or actually was put in email, that they were not a district priority. I worry now about your management skills of money, and I'll tell you what, you don't have to answer right now, I'm not done. I also am very, very in tune with the harassment and intimidation that these employees under your roof have been absolutely given, and I have enough documentation on all of that.
Yes.
I'm done with that. I'm just saying.
Yes, Mr. Porter, and I know Superintendent Davis.
Just
Yes.
for the record, the superintendent, you should be directing those comments to the superintendent, and you also, I'll remind the board that you have an agenda item in front of you. And you need to be, there's a motion on the floor to be discussing that, but I think you need to be very cautious about challenging individual employees from the dais when the superintendent is the supervisor of those employees.
So
thank you, Mr. Porter.
Superintendent Davis?
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, I'll say this. Any time that any employee feels that they need additional services or supports with a working conditions or environment, there's a process that to be followed through human resources. As it relates to this particular item, this item has been historically improved for 15 years by private entities who have been part of the decision making. As it relates to being able to transition through FACE, we're working to continue to strengthen our family and community engagement, and we'll work through Mrs. Brown and federal dollars to continue to make certain that's a priority within our organization, especially within our employees. And also from a financial perspective, we'll look into whatever finances we are from a rollover side of it, determine why that rollover may have occurred, and I'll report back to all the board members.
And I thank you, Superintendent Davis, and we'll just stick to the subject, Catapult. And I am familiar with Catapult.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go ahead and make sure we stick to the agenda, and if we're going to talk for future members for this item 610, let's continue just talking about 610. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. This is a mandate. I mean, this item's on our agenda every year, correct?
That is correct.
Mandated by the state.
Yes, ma'am. That we have to provide funding.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Hahn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously with Mr. Washington being off the dais. Okay, next item is 612.
Yes, ma'am. 612 is our invitation to bid for middle school and high school musical instruments. We have continued to try to find proactive ways to update our equipment within our schools. We know the district has spent around $300,000 in Title IV funding to be able to increase materials, equipment at our schools, but the remainder is for our schools to use their internal accounts to be able to provide the materials and instruments they need to be able to have successful middle and high school instruments.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item C612. I have a motion by Member Snively and I have a second by Member Vaughn. Any discussion? Member Snively?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take the opportunity. I know we have mentioned it before, but there are a lot of partners in our community that do help us locate new and gently used instruments for our students. It's something that is so important to their development and to their academic success, and just so happy that we do have partners in our community who will help find instruments for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Snively. Member Gray?
And that's really so true. And music in education, arts in education is a very big priority of all the board members, and this is much needed. We have so much outdated equipment, so I just applaud this agenda item. Thank you, Superintendent Davis.
Thank you, Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 614, the implementation of Montessori Academy at Essrig Elementary. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. To the chair, this is the first Montessori program to bring to Hillsborough County Public Schools. There's 20 private Montessori programs throughout Hillsborough County, none from a public perspective. And this is a unique way to be able to recruit and attract newcomers to our school district. And Essrig is a great placement. You have a willing principal. They're sitting at 72% utilization, so it's a great opportunity to expand. In Montessori, really focus on the developmental stages of learning, encourages cooperative play. They have different structures. It's child-centric learning. They're natural learning through self-development, through self-discipline. They're learning to be inspired through creativity. And this is a great way for us to be able to add another choice program to our school district. This is a hands-on opportunity, and I believe it will continue to be a model not only for Essrig, but to be able to have potential expansion. This is a $1.9 million expenditure over a 6-year span. We do believe that, over those 6 years, we can recruit around 216 students. If these are newcomers to the organization, and let's just say 80% of the 216 are newcomers, that's around $1.4 million that we'll be able to generate in new FTE. And then we have capital outlay funding that will help us with looking at structures, furnitures, to be able to have the right facilities. And openly, the remainder will be transferring to provide ongoing training to our teachers. We have engaged with CTA about a MOU for them to be able to agree the intent to stay for 3 years because the training is expensive in this process, and this is something we should continue to be able to grow. Mrs. Bates, anything you want to highlight?
Thank you, Mr. Davis, through the chair. I just feel that right now, as our students are returning from still post-COVID experiences, this is an opportunity for our students to be able to have a variety of experiences for our youngest learners. Some of our students are struggling with getting back into the social setting of a classroom, and these self-paced classrooms in the Montessori model will allow for multi-age groups for students to be able to accelerate at their own ability, to be able to be in an environment where they can express themselves in a variety of ways. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity for some of our neediest learners.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second to approve item C614. I have a motion by Member Snively and I have a second by Member Gray. Member Gray and I pulled this item. We'll start with Member Gray. Do you have any comments?
Yes, I believe and thank you, Ms. Bays, for really putting this to task. I mean, the study of it. I am personally not familiar with the Montessori, but I made myself familiar with it, and it was matching the very priority Tracy Bergman had shared about the reading stamina. the lack of reading stamina. Very interesting that the Montessori really does pay attention to that developmental and the reading emphasis and the writing emphasis, which is kinesthetic, which takes a lot of brain power and sustainability. So when we talk about stamina, that's a running term, by the way, the length of time a reader can pay attention to those passages on the FSA previous and on the new ones coming is so critical. And another reminder, and maybe Member Snively will enjoy this, years ago, we had songs that had really big stories and a lot of messages, just like the Beatles. But now you hear music with just snapshots of one sentence type of sounds. So, I mean, I really look forward to developing the amount of time a child can pay attention to the reading length, to the length of any stanza in the chorus, etc. And I think the Montessori will fill the bill. And lastly, thank you, Superintendent Davis, for thinking outside the box, which I believe you did on this one.
Thank you, Member Gray. And I also wanted to echo the same sentiments. I'm excited to see the innovation and thinking outside the box. I literally lived across the street from that school for 5 years ago, and it's such a great location that you chose. If I look at the different, there's a Montessori school very near there that has always had a waiting list, and I think about the charters in that area. I think it's a great space, very innovative. I'm very familiar with the Montessori curriculum education. I think parents are looking for different things for children, especially when children have maybe not been to school, as someone has spoken about in the last year or so, or somebody who's really working at a higher level and they want to be pushed. I think it's great, it's innovative, and I'm glad to see that we're doing that, and I appreciate the innovation. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Chair Gray. Well, I mean, Chair Combs. Chair Combs. I cannot express how excited I am about this Montessori school. As Member Gray, that's why she was on my mind, was talking about, how we're supporting our children on the spectrum and ESE when we were talking about, the charter school that we approved. Montessori is fantastic for neurodiverse students. It builds an intrinsic love of learning that is just so deeply embedded within them. My son went to Montessori until first grade. Now he's at Tampa Palms, which we just lost his principal, tonight. And this going to a public school, takes away that barrier, because for so long, people who were able to access Montessori are only parents who are able to afford to pay for that privately. So to bring this to our traditional public schools and give everybody that access is so fantastic, because again, that intrinsic love of learning it's building, that ability to really break it down. Kids can use manipulative, it's tactile for those kids who have sensory issues. It's a fantastic program if it's implemented correctly. And I think on top of that, this will be such a good feeder when we talk about early childhood development and how we get our kids to stay in our schools and choose traditional public education, and we want to make it competitive. All of the Montessori schools in my neighborhood are waitlisted for years. It's almost impossible to get in there. So talk about being a self-sustaining model of getting kids in early into that program and keeping them in our traditional public schools. I'm so excited about this. I want to thank everybody who is a partner in this. I can't wait to see what this school looks like. I have teachers at that school who are so excited that they'll be able to put their kids in that program and teach at that school, and I'm just so excited. So thank you very much, and I hope we get as many of these as possible, expand and spread. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. Well, I do know a lot about Montessori. I have a PhD in early childhood, learned a lot about Montessori. I wish I could share the enthusiasm of my colleagues, but I have a lot of questions. First, I want to make a comment. So this isn't just a Montessori classroom in VPK, or early childhood. This is actually a whole school that you want to convert. So much like we did for career and tech ed, I would have really appreciated a workshop around this, especially given the amount of money, and it's coming out of general fund. And 2 weeks ago, this board just voted to put a referendum on the ballot for more tax dollars. So, first, Montessori, I mean, if somebody is to be trained to teach in a Montessori school, typically it takes 1 year to 2 years to actually get certified in teaching Montessori. So I have a lot of PD questions. But I'd also like to know, how is this going to align with our standards? Because this isn't just an early childhood classroom. You want to pull this through the whole school. So how is this align Montessori? I already know the answer, but how is it going to align with the best standards?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm going to let Ms. Bays get in deeper detail. The other question is, the other statement is that right now the mentality is to embed a school within a school, and if it grows throughout the school and there's more interest with student body, more interest with teachers, and we have the funding to do so, then we can do it at scale at the school. We just want to be able to start small in that process. That's why we're going to do 216 students. This school holds more than 216 students, but being able to gradually transition to that process. And schools across the state all do this related to being able to have a bridge between standards, because they have to be a part of the curriculum because students are going to be assessed on an annual basis. Mrs. Bays?
And you said that, you've got all this interest. What kind of data have you collected from the community? Have you done parent surveys in the surrounding schools? Have you done community meetings? Or is it just assumptions?
No, ma'am. Everywhere we go, we talk about through our community about what they'd like to see, and it's informal. I don't have anything to date right now that's analytical to be able to show, but
you want to spend $2 million and there's no analytical data to support that. So I'm concerned about that.
I appreciate it, and through the chair.
And so what about the standards? How are you going to align Montessori curriculum with the best standards?
Thank you, Dr. Hahn, for raising the questions. So right now there is a crosswalk between the standards, the Florida standards, and the Montessori program. That's been developed. Right now there are 8 other districts that have public Montessori programs in place right now and are using that crosswalk. You also mentioned earlier the questions about the PD. So all of the teachers who are going to be involved in this are required to do 2 weeks of intensive training during the summer, and then they are supposed to commit 4 other weekends throughout the year each quarter to maintain their training. In addition to the teachers being training, one of the requirements of the Montessori program is that every classroom has an assistant teacher. Those assistant teachers are also put through the same rigorous training, and that's continuously done as well. So the PD is brought up to speed for all of them.
Who's doing the PD?
This is from the Montessori program nationally.
Okay, and so typically 1 year to 2 years to get certified to teach Montessori, and we're going to do it in a pretty quick clip. So, I know that, look, Montessori is a really wonderful program, so I'm not saying it's not. I want it to be quality. And I want to make sure that our teachers are trained to where they're not feeling any extra stress. I mean, we've got teachers that have to learn progress monitoring, new standards. Now we want to put this on them. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot when we already know our teachers are stressed. And I'm just not really, clear on how this is really going to impact the contract. I know you had a few bullet points. And how is it going to impact teachers prior to the transfer period to see if they want to go or stay at this school, or if other teachers want to go move into the school? So how do you deal with the transfer period?
Yes, ma'am, to the chair. We've already engaged the staff, and they are chomping at the bit to engage in this professional development. And we talk about analytics. When you have 20 schools that are private schools that are in this community, it says a lot about how Montessori is wanted in this community. And they have waiting lists they continuously have waiting lists. I've opened up Montessori schools.
Also have reputations they've developed for years and years. I mean, Burns Steakhouse has a wait list for tomorrow night. If I opened up a steakhouse tomorrow, they're not going to be clamoring to come to my steakhouse. So, our classrooms, they have a reputation. So, I would be happy to pilot a Montessori pre-K. You're asking us to change an entire school. We haven't had a workshop on something like this. And so I'm just, I'm going to get back in the queue.
If we could get back in the queue, that would be great.
Before I can vote on this, I need some more questions answered. And I'm hoping, and my concern is, and then I will be quiet, I do have a lot of concerns. This is a lot of money. And the reason I'd like a workshop is because during too many important conversations at this dais in very recent months, I try to ask all my questions, and somebody calls the vote, and I get maybe one time through the queue. So, I hope I can get my questions answered. Thank you.
To the chair, can I ask you one question? We're not asking us to take the entire school year, Scott, this entire school next year from pre-K to 5th grade and make it a Montessori. We would not do that. So when we talk about being able to have a waiting list, this is a 6-year plan that's in the agenda item that says year 1 is early childhood and kindergarten. That means it's 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. Then the second year, it's 1st grade. Then they'll transition and they'll loop up to 6th grade. This is a 6-year continuum that will phase this process in. No one's asking to change the school at scale. That is not how you implement this. I've implemented this process in Clay County and Duval County. I've seen a waiting list. We will open this up and it will fill completely. And I get the concerns from a financial side of it, but if we can recoup around $1.5 million with capital funds and also new enrollment, we get to a part where $200,000 for professional development. We lose money on IB every single day in the school district. We do. But this is good for kids. We train teachers. We train all those. So I'm just giving you an example about the financial side of it. And my role and responsibility as a community member spoke tonight is to look at every dollar and every cent. This is a priority for me to be innovative and creative. So being able to look at our budget and carve out $1.9 million over the next 6 years, we'll be able to get that done.
Are there not any choice grants that we could tap into to support this work versus it all coming out of our general fund? Are there?
As of right now, we don't know of any, but we can definitely look into our team and figure out if there's additional funding to be able to grow it for the following years to make certain that it's sustainable funding.
Okay, and I think we're going to have a lengthy conversation with this, and I think several people are going to get back in the queue. So let's go ahead and pause this because I'd like to. We do have some employees here just for consideration of their time. I'd like to go ahead and have the employee input, and then after that we'll go back to discussing this. So if you can just leave your names up there, that would be great. Okay, let's go ahead and move to public comment, and then we'll continue on from there. Public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry.
He's ready. He's on automatic.
Okay, I think I'm just looking at the public comment. Please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone this afternoon. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. When you'll have 30 seconds left. You'll see a yellow light on the lectern and a red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. We have 2 speakers this evening. Welcome.
Good evening, honorable school board members, Mr. Davis, staff. Hey, studies on students' learning losses during the pandemic continue to be reported nationwide. Of course, our Florida students are no exception, and this should be a surprise to no one. Even in a state where our students were limited in time away from their classrooms, measurable learning losses were incurred. It once again shows the value of our traditional public school teachers. Our educators are vital to the students and school successes. Their ability to meet the needs of our students is unmatched. We must never undervalue their impact on our young people every day. And as mental health concerns increase, they once again will be on the front lines for all of our students. In a state where there are literally thousands of vacant positions, we must do everything we can as a district and a community to retain and recruit teachers and educational professionals for the sake of our communities and our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening to our elected school board members and our current superintendent. Heidi Glick here. I know you've all been concerned about the mental and emotional health of our teachers and staff, and I want to let you know, personally, I'm feeling a lot better. The reason I'm feeling better is because I'm working a contract. So let me tell you what I did. I slept 20 minutes later than normal, and I was still at work before the sign-in time, my usual 30 minutes before sign-in, but a good 10 minutes before. I took my guaranteed 30-minute duty-free lunch each day, and I relaxed. I actually played a game on my phone. My planning period, because I was able to have it, I didn't have to cover, I was actually able to get all of my lessons ready for the following week. I created all of my lessons, I posted them on Canvas. I posted all the links for the assignments, I posted the attachments needed to complete the work successfully. I also used my planning period before school, and since I was able to have planning this week, I was able to get a lot of my papers graded. Those were not graded or copied by the end of the workday, they had to wait until the next day because I am not taking anything home. For those of you who are unaware of what it means to work to contract, let me explain. I come in when I'm assigned to start. I leave when I'm assigned to leave. I take my 30-minute duty-free lunch every day. I attend my faculty meetings, I attend my PLC, and I also take no work home with me. I do not attend any after-school events, and I think that that would surprise you to hear that I don't. I went back to a few because our girls' flag football is too good to miss, so I was attending those. And I've been to some of the plays lately because I feel I can do that now. I'm doing this because of my professional obligation to stand up for my students and my profession. I sacrifice my time, my family, my money more so than I ever have in the last 2.5 years, and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Needing to take breaks in my own home because of all of the extra stresses of the last 2.5 years. And I want to know that I agree with what Rob said. We are vital to the success of our students and to the future of our community. We need to do what we can do to secure, recruit, and retain new teachers. And I want to thank you for what you're doing for the music department, and I want to remind you that our art department needs some help too. I know for Alonzo, we need a new kiln. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for coming. We will now continue with 614, which is the implementation of the Montessori Academy at Essrig Elementary, and we will continue with Member Vaughn.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your thoughts, Dr. Hahn. I think that anytime we're talking about Montessori, it is important to make sure that we're asking questions and we're ensuring the quality and the spirit of Montessori is in the program. And I did spend a lot of time with both Ms. Bays and, remind me of his name again? Mr. Cox, asking a lot of questions to try to figure out, to make sure that this is, very close to Montessori. My sister's a Montessori teacher in Washington State. In regards to concerns about the community, since that is my school and my community that I grew up in, I have my in-laws in, I'm very close with the community, I'm very close with people in that school, I can assure you that there is unbelievable amounts of excitement from not just the teachers and staff, but people who live in that community who cannot wait to put their kids in a program like that. So I appreciate that question because that is important, but I can assure you as a representative of that community who is very close to the community, they absolutely want this and they're very excited about it. So hopefully that will ease a little bit of the concerns when that comes to this. As far as a workshop, I completely understand. There's probably about 10 things that were said at the last meeting about the millage that I would love to have a workshop about and straighten out. I know how frustrating it is not to be able to have more thorough conversations about everything that we want to, especially since we might have differing opinions on things. But honestly, I didn't see a workshop when we were talking about letting what's the one church group that we do pre-K in our schools because we think it would be good feeder, Grace.
Now you said it.
Grace, no.
It was with Mr. Crowder. Chef Crowder, you can go, Tracy. I've lost it now. Chef Crowder's at Morgan Elementary School.
It's Rosa Valdez Early Childhood Program, and it is Cornerstone Family Ministry.
Cornerstone, thank you. I would have loved to have had a more thorough workshop about Cornerstone as well to talk about the pros and cons. And, one of the things that we really heard on that was it's going to be a feeder program. It's going to be a feeder pattern that allows our kids in those communities to connect with those schools and to find a reason to stay. Now, I am glad that you asked about professional development. That is important, and we want to make sure that our teachers are supported and trained in that. So I would like to know more information about professional development and ongoing 2 weeks and then another 4-week course. I want to make sure that they do have professional development for the entirety of it. But I did want to clarify because I think there is some miscommunication. As you mentioned, similar to an IB or 3DE or other sub-programs that we have in our schools, you are not transitioning this entire Essrig school over to Montessori, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so I'm not sure where that miscommunication is coming from in regards to that. It will be staggered where there'll be more grades added as the program goes on so we can support those students to make sure that we don't give them Montessori. Because as you know, right, it goes in cohorts. You have to do pre-K and then first grade and then so we want to make sure we cohort those students. But I think that this program, from all the questions that I've asked in my knowledge, and I don't have a doctorate, is really great. And I appreciate your questions, Dr. Hahn. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Perez.
So with the Montessori schools, I've had, as a parent, the wonderful experience of sending my children through Montessori schools before they went into public school. And the difference is so eerie because I pulled my children's photos from their school pictures. And the difference between the public school pictures with their classes and the Montessori school pictures with their classes is that they were the only students that looked like them. They were very, and their teachers look more like the rest of the students than they did like my children. So my question is, and I was mentioning to Board Member Washington how excited I was this evening to see you select more principals that were looking like our student population here in Hillsborough County. So when I looked at that picture of my children in attendance in Montessori schools and the population tonight of the representation for our student population, which I thank you for, by the way, Superintendent, what is that going to look like? Because I know a lot of times with the magnet schools, a lot of the parents who enroll their children are not what the population of Hillsborough County looks like. So I want to ask that question, in order for our parents to understand what that enrollment is going to look like and who is going to be able to attend, how we're going to be able to make that waiting list, who's going to attend those schools, and what that's going to look like for them.
Yes, ma'am, through the chair. This will be no different than our lottery process that we have for our current choice and magnet schools within Hillsborough County. It's a fair, equitable, diverse process. Ms. Bays, you want to talk about what that process looks like and in depth?
Certainly. Yeah, we're going to open a special window just for this group of students for this school. That will begin on June 18th and run through the 25th. I want to bring to the point as well that right now the enrollment at that school is 55% Hispanic, 6% Black, 7% mixed, and then 28% white. So we anticipate that the students who are going to apply for this, being indicative of the neighborhood surrounding the school, will also be representative of that. So it is going to have kind of a cross-cultural enrollment that we anticipate.
Okay, so you're going to keep an eye on the diversity of that population enrolling in that.
Yes, and that is one of the intents about opening magnet programs and opening a lottery system so that students from all over and different demographics can apply.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. What is it says here that there'll be a charge for 3-year-olds consistent with district costs for early childhood programs. What do you anticipate the cost will be to parents?
Yep, we're going to be maintaining the same cost that we have for our early childhood. Since our 3-year-olds and our 4-year-olds don't generate FTE, we're going to be doing this commensurate with the free and reduced lunch prices that we have right now. This will just be able to supply some of the supplies and materials for those grade levels.
What's the cost?
No.
$10.
Is it 10? I think we have it at $10. No.
I'll get back.
Yeah, if it's the free lunch students, it will be $10 per week. Reduced lunch, it'll be $20 per week, and if they're not qualified for free and reduced lunch, it's $75 per week.
Okay. Again, Montessori is a great program. I'm just concerned, obviously, about the training. I know that the PD for the teachers you mentioned. How about for the administrators?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. So first of all, the PD that is being recommended is coming from the National Montessori Organization. So they have honed this enough to be 2 intensive weeks during the summer, and then, as I said, a full weekend quarterly for the remaining year. As we presented this and started to generate interest through the administration and the faculty at the school, the administration will be trained. They were eager to, but what was really interesting and wonderful is that not only were the teachers targeted for 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds invited to attend, we had teachers from every single grade level ask if they too could attend the trainings. We had the entire kindergarten group say that they all wanted to attend the training. So we've got an enthusiasm building in this campus right now that they are all clamoring to go to the training. So we'll do that as much as we can.
And I understand this is adding a grade each year. What happens if, first of all, what for every grade you add, there's going to be a non-Montessori option at the school as well, correct? It's not an entire wall-to-wall Montessori. It's going to still have an option for traditional.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Will there still be a traditional VPK classroom there?
We can continue that process, both of them side by side, whether it's VPK all the way up to 5th grade. We want to make sure we have that traditional setting, because Montessori, to Mrs. Perez's standpoint, may not be for every learner, every parent, because they may not make that connections with it, and they may not be educated about what that program offers in transition to. We may have somebody who may want a lottery from 1st grade to 2nd grade because they hear about it, they're exposed to it. So
I am glad about that, because as Member Perez said, this is not a great fit. It's a very specific type of program, and some kids do phenomenal in it, and some struggle in Montessori. So, the fact that I'm glad they have an option, if they are finding that it's not a good fit, they can move them into a traditional VPK classroom, because, and I think the one thing to look out for, and I'm sure they'll talk to teachers about this, when kids are in Montessori classrooms, it's all a lot of self-selection and choice. And that's great because it develops a lot of, excitement and energy. But if students are always self-selecting, let's say math and science activities and not reading activities, then, we traditionally see when they, move up in grades that there's a gap. And so we need to make sure that our teachers are, recognizing that, making sure, even though it's self-selection and choice, that we're encouraging them to really have a balanced, day, and they're not just always choosing where their comfort level is, because otherwise, and that's the downfall of Montessori traditionally when kids move from Montessori into a traditional setting, is that you start to see these gaps in their learning, and so it's great, but you have to make sure that that everybody involved is really trained up to where they're supposed to be. So we can't afford those gaps in the business we're in. There's a lot of high stakes, as we know. How does the progress monitoring and the assessment piece that teachers have to do, how does that work in a Montessori, whether it's kindergarten, 1st grade? As we build this program, how do we reconcile that? Because that doesn't fit, obviously, a Montessori model. So how do we?
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. And honestly, I am not familiar enough with how the progress monitoring is going to look in any of our schools yet to be able to speak to how it's going to look in our Montessori schools.
But school grades, all of that, like how does it, you
Yes,
did it in
ma'am.
Clay County, so maybe you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
talk
So-
even under the old way, like how do you marry those two?
all of those still remain the same. So all FSA still expected. We use that bridge walk to be able to identify curriculum guides, but all the same accountability measures will be in place, and they'll follow the same evaluation process. They'll follow additional substance for curriculum guides that's connected to Montessori, but any grade that's the accountability system will be identified through the state of Florida still is in play. Nothing in isolation.
Okay. Thank you. Member Gray?
Just real quick, Superintendent Davis, in the big picture and being pragmatic, so how does this fit in the strategic plan for early learning? Because that's a priority of all the board members, is the focus on early learning education. How does this fit within that plan?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think it's just another opportunity that we offer parents. The biggest thing we wanted to do is have greater accessibility to students in 3-year-old, 4-year-old programs, and also in our kindergarten through VBK. So I think just the expansion of services to provide that may be most attractive to a parent. And as we said, in SRIG, you have 4 to 6 different private schools in that particular area that are thriving at a younger age. So this just opens up additional seats and allows them to pick Hillsborough County as a potential first. So we can get them into our initiatives, into our classrooms, and we can grow them along the way with expectations, grow them along the way, not only academically, behaviorally, but just create systems for students and learners and give them a sense of opportunity within our schools from a parent side.
Well, I'm just excited too, because again and again, the focus that you're sharing with us with this innovative package. Thank you, Ms. Bays, again for being so informative. You're paying attention to the value of pre-K and the value of a business, or not a business, a school model that does accelerate VPK learning, early learning. So I'm glad that this is on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to piggyback off Member Perez. My concern was, and Mrs. Bays, you said it correctly, my concern was the diversity at the school, but I see that we have that under control, so it should be a great, outstanding school. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Hahn?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just, one, I do understand that, first, I just want to go back to, this is a 6-year commitment. It's very different than the early childhood classroom that we're piloting. That was a 1-year pilot. So I do think it deserves a workshop. We did have a workshop on the millage. So, I do think this does deserve a workshop. So, I'd like to go back to my questions on grants and just, really, I know we've encouraged you to do innovative things, and this is innovative. I just would have, I would like us to explore grants. This is a choice program. It is innovative. I think there's probably money out there, so we're not going into our general fund. And so I would like some commitment to feel comfortable with this from the money standpoint, that that your staff will explore those areas. I've just got to believe with something like this, there's got to be some dollars out there to support it, and and then I'd like to see some type of marketing plan brought to the board, just how we're getting the message out, how we're sharing this with the community. And then, I think if you, and perhaps a workshop after the first year to discuss the data, and then how that may, continue to fuel the next 5 years, or maybe pivot in certain ways. And if this is going to be expanded to another school, I'd like a workshop around that before I fall out of my seat, to discuss that and all the data. But I do want to know that I'd hope that you'd be working with your evaluation staff, because that's one thing I don't see in this is how are you evaluating this program?
Yes, ma'am.
Program evaluation, for a board to be fiscally responsible and know that we're spending our money in efficient and impactful ways, program evaluation is a huge part of that. And maybe that's the academic side of me. Anytime you get a grant, you've got to prove that, the first thing they ask, right, is how are you evaluating this program? Because they want to know that the money was spent in an impactful way if they're going to continue to fund those types of things. So I would feel better if we could have some program evaluation done as we're moving through this. Just from a fiscal point of view, we really need to demonstrate that we're being fiscally responsible. So I would feel comfortable if those things, if you could put on the record, those things would be put in place, so that we could move forward in comfort.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Superintendent Davis, you wanted to comment to make
Yes,
a
ma'am.
comment with that?
I think all these questions are valid. I get it. We're at a $1.9 million, and it's a 6-year commitment, and how that's going to be. I will commit to being able to look at grants to be able to alleviate general fund expenditures.
Or even around PD, right? Like maybe
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
some things around PD
Yep.
we could get.
Yes, ma'am. Without a doubt, or use Title II funding potentially for this, and that may qualify and take some of the funding off. Also looking at a vision for expansion. What does that expansion potentially look like? But I think looking at the evaluation of this program, that happens annually for all of our programs. Looking at enrollment, looking at FT number of students, looking at money generated versus expended, looking at overall teacher effectiveness, looking at student performance, behavior outcomes. All those will be easy to be able to do it. And maybe we invite somebody that's done it systemically in a private sector or in public education to come and walk and be coaches from us from a local or throughout the state to help us make certain we do it efficiency.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I'll just close by saying, I know I asked a lot of questions, but I just think this is why, we're discussing this, because we do want to show that if we're spending this kind of money, how we're monitoring that spending, and are the deliverables providing us with, the expected impact for our students? Because I think it's great we want to invest in our students and do it in innovative ways, but I do want to make sure that we're impacting them in the most positive way possible to make sure they're having really good academic success around these innovative ideas. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Vaughn?
I know you're not used to seeing me in the queue so much, right? But I'm obviously passionate about this. Well, thank you again, Dr. Hahn, for your questions. I think always talking about grants and ways to fund programs is a wonderful thing, because any way that we can add more, revenue to different things that we're trying to do is great. Accountability is also good. One thing I think that we should use when we're talking about monitoring this is reading readiness, because the way that Montessori teaches reading, where you don't even really learn the letter names, you learn the phonetic sounds before you learn those letters. So your brain doesn't have to do the conversion of A says ah, B says ba. Right off the bat when you see that that's a ba, and a duh. I think that the reading readiness levels that I've seen coming out of Montessori for my son's own classmates in comparison to what we have here would be a really great benchmark, because that is one way that Montessori is parallel to a lot of other learning strategies. I love the conversation around diversity. Anybody who spent time in Montessori knows that diversity is the center of the Montessori learning, that teaching global responsibility, how to be a global citizen. My kid knows, I'm ashamed to admit this, but more about geography than probably anyone in the household. He can identify the smallest cities and countries on the map because they do such a great job of teaching everything from a world perspective and focusing on diversity and culture and making sure that everybody feels valued, and that there's value in learning about different cultures and including that in lessons. It's very similar to project-based learning that we're all very excited about. One thing I think that you touched on, I think I heard from the back room as I was trying to get that coffee maker to work, is the transition, right? That it is a drastically different program, and will there be a challenge from kids who transition from Montessori to more of a traditional learning setting? And I had many of those same fears myself with my own son, and I was lucky he did fantastic. My nephew also transitioned, did fantastic, but it is something that we have to think about, because it is a different learning style, and it is hard to go from, being very hands-on and intrinsic and learning with, manipulatives to going to more of a traditional model. So I think that is all good things that we should have conversations about. I would love to have a workshop, 6 months, a year into this, and really talk about the impact that it's having and whether it's, as great as I think it's going to be. So, I just want to share my thoughts on that. And then this is the last time I'm going to get in the queue. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. And what I'm hearing is, we had an early childhood workshop, and I'm hearing that maybe we need to have another one. And looking at this, so I will make sure that I engage with every board member, so that way we can decide if this would be a future workshop. I also think it's great that we're talking about Cornerstone and also mirroring something that's similar to that in our own district as we are moving forward. I lived in that area, as I said, for 20 years, and there is a Montessori that I actually tried to get my own children in, but there was such a long wait, which is about 2 miles from the school. So I am, as I said, I am very, very familiar with that area. I drive by that area almost every single day. There is charter schools that are significantly not doing well in that area, and we have so many schools in that area. They're doing so much better, and I think this is a great way of getting our students back, because parents want that. And I am confident that there is going to be a very long waiting list for me for this, because I know the population that lives in that area. I know the parents that are looking for schools in that area, and I know that this program is going to grow, and we have to continue to listen to parents and see what they want. That's what we're here for being innovative innovative. Of course, it's going to cost money, but we have to look at the long term. Like, how is that going to positively impact students? How is that going to drive students back to our district? How is that going to benefit students? How is that professional development going to just not only go in that area? I can guarantee you in 5 years from now, we're looking at multiple Montessori schools, because we are seeing that every child is different and unique, and parents want that unique program. So I am very much in support of this. And once again, Superintendent Davis, I appreciate your being innovative and thinking of this, and I absolutely support this. And I will go on. I was going to call the question, but I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to speak. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a quick question. So there is a fee for the students?
Through the chair, it's only for our 3-year-old, 4-year-old students that we do not receive FTE for. So that's no different than what we offer for our current programs or initiatives or surrounding private agencies as well.
Okay, so with, and I'm going to go here as a social worker, with the current climax that we have, you know, with the financial and, you know, what's happening, and not just in Florida but in the nation, financially, the students who probably will need this program a little bit more to, you know, to get them in a better space will not be able to get into this program if they have to pay a fee.
Through the chair, there's a sliding scale financially. So
I see that, the reduce, but at even probably at $20, it's probably just, or even at 10, they're probably not going to. So it's going to eliminate a whole bucket of our students that you know, will probably need to be able to get into that.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown and Ms. Bays.
So I just want to clarify, thank you, Mr. Superintendent. I just want to clarify that the fee that Ms. Bays is referring to is the wraparound fee, which means for the extended day for a student that is in a VPK classroom, which is for 4-year-olds only. That fee, because VPK is only a 3-hour-a-day program, the extended day is what parents pay for. We do have other opportunities to look at funding supports that could supplement what we're currently doing. And because ESRIG is a Title I school, it is a possibility that Title I could supplement that program as well.
Okay, so if we have a workshop, Madam Chair, can we speak to those possibilities of supplemental grants or whatever to help these parents? Because I believe the parents who are going to need these, you know, like Member Vaughn spoke about, the children who have, you know, who have autism, or, you know, who are going to probably require these additional supports, you know, especially your 3- and 4-year-olds. It would be great to be able to provide those that information to those parents. And also the teachers, the diversity in the teacher population. What is that going to look like beyond the student diversity?
Well, through the chair, as always, we are trying to match the teacher diversity with the student population diversity. So just as you saw this evening, as we are trying to select more diverse populations in our administration, we're continuing to try to do that with the teachers as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Snively?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A worthwhile discussion having with regard to this. Very good points. I can appreciate everybody's different standpoints on this particular initiative. I love the idea that we are providing choices for parents who might like the idea of a different way of curriculum, which is the Montessori curriculum. I like the fact that it's a slow move, that it's not necessarily going to encompass the entire school at once, and that there will be choices for the students or the parents who don't want Montessori at that particular school to continue to. Am I understanding that? So if I'm a parent and my child goes to that school, they're zoned for that school, but I don't necessarily want them in the Montessori program. It's not required, obviously. So. Okay, I appreciate the data points that Dr. Hahn mentioned and the concerns that she has financially. It's a hard balance Member Combs mentioned, we've got to look at the long-term, big picture, but we also have to balance that with our financial responsibility as a school board. I'm not particularly opposed to this. I think the more choices that parents have, I am definitely in favor of that. I am concerned with some of the lack of data and the lack of discussion around it. And so my comment is really more about maybe not necessarily this particular initiative, but when we talk about having a workshop or having more discussion, magnet schools are all expensive. And I don't know as a board that we have been able to wrap our heads around the impact that magnet schools have had on our district with regard to academic success and achievement balanced with financial responsibility. We love putting out magnet programs, but we don't talk necessarily about the long-term impact that they have financially and academically on our students. So perhaps it would behoove us as a board not necessarily to have a workshop just on this. We could certainly incorporate some of the information that helped you make this decision, but also in the magnet programs in general to educate the board about balancing those two things, those two items.
I think it's perfect. Through the chair, one thing I've asked our staff to do is to do an audit of every one of our choice and magnet programs to determine whether or not they're thriving, look at the overall financial costs, look at the enrollment, look at the academic outcomes, the academic performance, the retention of teachers, the professional development is inclusive. So I've asked Ms. Bays and her whole team to do that district-wide, and that would be a great workshop that needs to happen, that we'd come back and provide analytics and information about what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently. What do we need to rebrand? What do we need to selectively abandon? What do we need to move from one school to the next? What do we need to potentially add? And then being able to actively engage this community to determine what they want to see related to a choice initiative and choice program. Ms. Bays?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Davis, and through the chair. That's what we're working on right now, similar to what we did in the fall when we did an audit of all of our CTE programs. We now have this underway with all of our magnet programs. So we're taking a look at enrollment, we're taking a look at diversity, we're taking a look at school grades, student achievement, looking at teacher retention, we're looking at every single component that we can. What we're also trying to do is to create and recommend pre-K through 12 pathways so that instead of having many random programs out there that are unrelated to each other, we're going to offer pathways of choice for students that they can start in at a young age, pre-K and kindergarten, and then have a pathway that they can travel for their interests all the way through 12th grade. So at the board request, whenever there is a request for a workshop, we'll be ready to go.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Bays.
And we'll have 27 more seconds. No, I think as board members, it would benefit us in order to understand. We have a rich history in magnet programs, and we have a lot of great success in that area. So I am looking forward to discussing the results of the audit that you're performing and how it can impact this district from this point forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Snively. Member Gray?
Probably not necessary, but I was going to call the question.
Okay. Well, say it anyways. Okay, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next is 616, Agreement 22088 XMT LG Parent Link. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is a communication tool that we use every single day to engage our parents, whether it be related to events, whether it be to any potential crisis or information that needs to transition out to our communities. We use it at scale for the district level. We also use it geographically, and also every school uses it to communicate with their families. So just bringing this expenditure back to the school board for approval. The reason it's on the discussion is because we use general fund dollars. We want to make sure we're transparent with the community about how we use general fund dollars, and this is a $167,000 expenditure, which we've used for many, many years.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C16. I have a motion by Member Washington, a second by Member Snively. Any discussion? Please, Member Snively?
Thank you. I will say that when you say many, many years, I don't remember having this necessarily when I first got elected, or at least we weren't implementing it as much. But I will say I have seen over time an improvement. Now everybody knows at 5:30 when the phone rings, it throws that going, right? But I would rather, and sometimes we all like, oh, okay, fine, you know, let's go to voicemail so I can listen to it later. But I would rather have more communication, get a phone call and a text message, than where we were maybe 10 years ago, where we didn't, as a parent, we hardly got any communication. And so I am happy to continue supporting ParentLink, or a way for us as a district to continue pushing information out in different ways, so that however parents like to be contacted and communicated with, that they are getting that information, whether it's text or email or phone call. So that's all I want to say, because we've come a long way with technology. There's a lot more ways to go, Mr. Weeks, but we've come in this area a long way. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Snively. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 618, purchase of supplemental books to support English language arts and reading curriculum in grades 2 through 12. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Over the last couple of meetings, we've approved some decodables for kindergarten and first grade, and also being able to expand kindergarten and first grade classroom libraries. So this is now to be able to strengthen our classroom libraries from grades 2 through 12 through novel sets. And I'm going to transition this to Mr. Connor and Tracy as well, that they can speak to this initiative and why it's important for us to use reading categorical funding, which is an categorical allocation, to be able to build libraries that match with the best standards.
Yeah, through the chair, we're excited to bring this item to you. As you recall, our very first purchase that our endeavor on that was the best book list. And the charge from this board was to go back and to review what supplemental materials that we could use to incorporate into the curriculum that was a good representation of our students and staff. And this team did an excellent job in reviewing those materials and coming up with this selection with a lot of teacher feedback and input. And I'm going to hand it over to Tracy Bergman to share a little bit about that process.
Good evening. So we, when we took a look at the books, and just to kind of give a little bit of history, what we're looking at are supplemental materials, right? So we know we have our core Wonders and Study Sync. So we have the novel studies that are going to be supplemental for the Wonders, and then the novel studies that are actually part of the Study Sync curriculum. They were choices that we could make to include within our units of study. And so with that, we, my supervisors put out some input surveys to teachers and just said, hey, like, you know, which books are you interested in teaching? Would these books be, you know, how do you feel about these? And so from all the books that we are looking to purchase tonight, we are looking at over every text was at least over every grade level represents at least 75% top choice from the teachers. From there, we then took a look at the diversity levels, you know, in terms of did we represent. One of the things last time we spoke about with the best book list was the lack of representation. We said that the best book list had 79% of the authors were white, with the 21% representing of all the minorities put together. 63% were male and 35% female out of the 370 books that were on that list. So when we took a look at our diversity, one of our goals was to take a look and try to get rid of the gap between what our population is and what our students read. And so when we look at that, when we look at HCPS student representation, we have 33% of our students white, 21% black, 37% Hispanic, 4% Asian, and 5% other. So in looking at this book list, our goal was to match that the best we could. So with author representation, we're at 39% white, 20% black, 31% Hispanic, 7% Asian, and 3% other. That's pretty close as far as what we can get. And we take a look at books that were published in the United States, effective 2019. We certainly have done our due diligence in seeking out those books and being intentional. So some of the other things that were considered as well were just the topics and the time periods and being faithful to the best standards, because we do have that obligation for our students. So we also took a look at, just the interest level of the students, the standards that we're looking to teach, the language used in the standards, and what opportunities there would be to bring in discussion and text-based evidence and critical thinking skills within the instruction that could be used with these texts. So that is pretty much a summation of how we landed here today with the purchase of those texts, with the request for it. In addition, I should probably mention we're at 62% female, so we flipped it from the best book list. Just a little shout out there. Anyway, so that's kind of where we landed with it. So we're excited to bring you these texts and look forward to answering any questions that you might have.
Thank you. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C618. I have a motion by Member Perez, and I have a second by Member Gray. Member Gray and I pulled this item, so we'll speak first, and then if you can just get in the queue. So,
Do you want me to go?
yes, I have a motion by Member, I already said that. Okay, I'm sorry, Member Gray.
Okay, so thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Bergman and Mr. Connor. This was brought to the attention to the African American Task Force. As you well know, you were on there. I brought it forth because I wanted them to be aware that the first part of the best book list was not exemplary of diversity at all, and I wanted to, it was kind of like a warning. And then, of course, your part two, which you'll present later on this month, you're going to share that, in fact, we are going to have diversity. And I just applaud that. And this will be shared also to the Hispanic Task Force. So I think that whenever we, and this goes to Ms. Perez's comments and probably all the board members, we need to do all the time match what we're teaching, including the teachers and the staff and the administrators, with the actual population. That's how the kids will learn. They can identify, they can appreciate their culture, and they will grow with more wisdom and hopefully more moral spirit and fortitude that this is part of their heritage. So all that is to say, thank you for getting to this point and recognizing, and thank you, Superintendent Davis, for also putting this as a priority. Diversity in our textbook, diversity in our curriculum, and the student body will definitely profit from it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. I just wanted to comment as well, and sorry for messing up because I was so intrigued with your numbers and really talking about making sure that we have so many books. And I'm happy to see with ESSER funding that we're putting into motion to make sure there's a lot of libraries and a lot of books there. So when the ESSER funding is done in 5 or 10 years, we can look and say that set of The Outsiders or that set of, whatever book, is available. And it's really important that you are making sure that there's a balance of books that are represented. And to remember that if a parent feels uncomfortable, they can opt out of that book. And I think it's very important. Looking at that list of books, those are a lot of classics that I grew up with. And I know it's very controversial now with books. And I'm glad to see that you've chosen such a different array of books for our students. And at the end of the day, I feel very confident that it's going to take probably 3 years, but we are going to move this district because I absolutely believe we have such a strong academic service team. There is no question. I would challenge our academic service team against anybody in the nation. I am really proud to be here as a school board member, and I thank you, Mr. Connor and Tracy and your entire team for all that you're doing and making sure, and Superintendent for getting these books out there. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to echo what you were saying also. And it's amazing because when we were on the task force and we were talking about the difference between the diversity, it's amazing that you got it up 20%. That's phenomenal because we need sometimes when we read books, look at pictures, we want to see people just like us. And that's so important. And I want to thank you, Tara. You guys, y'all have done a great job with this. You really have. You know what's good about it? And the parents need to understand, you can opt out. I mean, you don't have to read the book or whatever. If you don't want your kids involved, then you can opt out. And that's a great point. And I really appreciate that. Y'all have done a great job. And Superintendent, hats off to you.
Thank you. Member Perez?
I am beyond thrilled. Let me say this. to reflect the diversity in our books, to allow our children to see, become well-rounded, culturally competent, and critically thinking individuals because they see themselves. This is the best book. Thank you. Now we could call it the best. It's a fair representation of our student population, and they have the freedom to be able to have their voices heard in these books. So I appreciate you, meeting the challenge, and going forth and bringing us back, and meeting the charge. I really appreciate it. Thank you for what you've done, not just, to bring this list, but also for what you've presented to the student population here in Hillsborough County. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Vaughn?
Get it together today. Thank you, Chair Combs. Got that one right. I just want to echo what my fellow board members said. Thank you, Superintendent Davis, but also thank you. That's where I'm going to go. Don't worry. That's where I'm going to go. But thank you really to, literacy and academic services and all of you who are listening to what we said and do all of the hard work to make sure that, we're supplementing anything that might be missing from some of the state curriculum to make sure our students have access to read literature that represents them, that they can see themselves in or relate to. I've brought it up before, but when I go into libraries and I speak to librarians about what can we do to get our students not just at a reading level, but passionate about reading, over and over and over again, they say, give them access to books that they're interested in, that reflects their real life experiences, that speaks to them, and that's the way to build that passion, and kids will read. So I just wanted to echo all of that and say thank you for your hard work, and we're all very excited about this. Thanks again.
And I just want to give a shout out to my team because they really did. I know some of them are behind me. They really did a great job, in digging through text after text and reviews and talking to teachers and talking to, just in general, educators in general, just to select these titles. So again, there was a lot of intention, a lot of passion behind the work that they did. So we're excited to be able to hopefully share these with our students next year.
Thank you. Member Snively?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the work that you all do. I know that you are very intent on the direction that this board goes, which is important to the board and the superintendent. I have mentioned it before, some of my concerns about certain books, especially the ones that get presented to us during public comment. And I'm appreciative of the fact that there is now online a form that parents can choose to opt out of sexual health education. I do not see, Mr. Washington, I do not see a form for opting out of any of the books that are on here. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these books are classics and I grew up with them, and I'm very appreciative, and I know that there are parents that are appreciative, some parents are appreciative of those as well. But as if there are parents who do not want their child to access any books on that list, I am not familiar with any opt-out form for any of those books. That's not on the website that I can see. I've spent the last couple of minutes trying to find something. It is not under instructional materials. It's not anywhere that I could find for a parent who does not want to expose their child to any of those books. So I just want to point that out, because here we are again saying things like we can opt out, and the instructions are not there, the form is not there, there's nothing there on the website that is obvious for a parent without spending an hour trying to find something. So for the parents that are out there that need to be heard and represented, that may not want their child to read those books or be exposed, we need to have that option very available to them as well. Okay, both sides of this need to be represented. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Snively. Member Washington?
Member Snively, I was pertaining to that book, those books. I wasn't talking about the books that they come in.
I want to speak to it.
For
I don't see an opt-out
Yes,
form online.
and I know, Mr. Connor, you're going to go over, because I know I went
Yes,
through that process with my daughter. So
Yeah.
okay, come comes home.
So through the chair, as we went and met with board members on this particular item, we shared with you because this is going to be required text. This is going to be what's in the curriculum, built into the curriculum guide. So the process for that we shared with every board member, and we did email every board member a copy of a Spanish version and an English version of what we'll be sending home during the first day packets. And they will list all the books that are being purchased. And then parents will have the ability to check those books that they want to opt out of and then send that back to the school, to the teacher.
Will there be an electronic version of that? Because have you seen the packets that come home on the first day of school? And if you have multiple children, you could spend in two weeks going through those packets. So in my opinion, that's great, but I would recommend having an alternative way of allowing parents to have a voice in what their children are allowed to see. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Washington, were you gonna have any other comments? That's it. Okay. Thank you. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 620, increase in expenditures for piggyback 21016 PGB SK Communication System for Security Department. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am, through the chair. This is allows our dispatchers, they use the Harris XG25 mobile radios in their dispatch center. And these radios indirectly need to be updated. They're inadequate for communications with our first responders. So being able to provide all of our control centers and our employees with an updated version for radio that has greater transmissions, more accessibility to different tones, also being able to allow them to have connectivity between officers, drivers, support staff, security staff, just allows us to have a strength their school system related to safety. So this is a capital expenditure financially that allows us to be able to put new mobile devices in all of our employees of need.
Okay, thank you. Please vote when your lights appear. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't have this here.
I think we need clarification. Is this an item?
Yeah, I don't have this as an item. Is this something?
Oh, 620?
On my agenda, I don't have that as an item that needs a motion
Clarify whether
in a
this is
second.
something the board needs to vote on or whether you're presenting it as an information item.
No, it needs to be approved. Sorry.
Okay, then the script
Okay,
is wrong,
it's
so you
just
need to
not
ask
on
for a
my
motion.
script. No problem. I need a motion and a second to approve item 620. I have a motion by Member Washington, a second by Member Perez. Any discussion? Member Snively?
Just a quick question, if someone could explain regarding the financial impact, perhaps why it's more than 10% from the previous year.
Go ahead, Mr. Farkas.
It's the same company, but it's two different products. They have a BDA product, which is our bidirectional antennas, and it's also our new product. So it's more expensive this year because we're actually changing over to a new radio. So it's a more expensive product. So that's a one-time cost that we won't have. That maintenance cost is listed in there, but the one-time cost that's increased is because it's a new radio.
Member Snively, do you have any additional questions or comments? Okay, Member Vaughn?
Thank you. In follow-up to Member Snively's question, so this is a $6.5 million purchase.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out because we've talked a lot about $1.9 million purchases, and here's a 6.5 one, so I just wanted to make sure we had some conversation about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next item is 718, approve the proposed bell schedules for 2022-2023 school year. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Annually, our role and responsibility is to bring school hours to the board for approval so we can communicate these hours to our constituents. And the biggest change in these hours would be for middle school. We have worked with our middle schools to determine whether or not the busing and transportation has impacted them in a positive or negative way. They do believe going back to a start time between 9:25 and 9:35 would be a better opportunity to get their students in and for us to be able to not have continuous students late related related to transportation concerns that we've experienced and also has been experienced throughout the state of Florida. So this just brings our hours for approval and just recognizes the middle school adjustment.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second to approve item C718. I have a motion by Member Washington, and I have a second by Member Gray. Member Vaughn, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I generally pull anything that's going to affect parental changes, whether it's bell schedules or when we were talking about when we approved the calendar and some concerns I had with the calendar. I guess my question would be, even though we had a thorough conversation about the calendar change for the upcoming school year and how testing was really forcing us to pick the days that we did for winter break, I don't know about the other board members, but I'm getting emails with parents who are concerned about that. And so we have conversations about this, and I pulled this item, but I know that parents are busy and not everybody can watch a lengthy school board meeting. When we make changes like this, whether it's a bell schedule, whether it's something that, the academic calendar, we approve it right away, can we do something where we inform parents like right after it happens so that I'm not getting emails 6 or 8 months after we've had the conversation when they realize these changes are going through?
Yeah, through the chair, absolutely. We'll send that information to all of our, the entire organization, also to our community. We'll use ParentLink to be able to do that, and we'll continue to do that throughout the summer and also the beginning of the year before school starts, so everyone continuously knows the changes that we've impacted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. We have one information item, which is the Octo surplus auction. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am, to the chair. As you know, we have a 25-year agreement with Generate Capital, and what they did is being able to replace LED lights within our schools to be more efficient from an energy perspective. So there's a lot of parts and equipment left over. So what this does is bring to the board that this equipment is going to an auction, and that money that we generate will then be pushed back into capital projects, and just as a FYI to the board.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments on this?
Yeah, I just had a question, and perhaps Mr. Farkas, but addressing Superintendent Davis. This is the first time we've done this before, where we retrieved $1,620,000. I thought that was significant. It's a great find, and but why is this the only time that we went to Generate to get this type of money?
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, this is the first time that the district engaged in years ago of a number of equipment to be revamped at scale. So just having additional parts and materials left over, for us to be able to get some funding out of it. We do that all the time through gov.deals with other equipment, but this is just being able to recognize to the board that we're going to take everything we did from a LED perspective, our past pre-LED perspective, to be able to put it on the market to generate additional dollars back to us so we can use it through capital funding. Mr. Farkas, anything?
Yeah, just one quick thing. So part of the agreement with Generate is they're responsible for changing light bulbs, fixing lights, things like that. So traditionally, we'd hold these items. We'd hold them in case something broke. Because they're responsible for fixing that, there's no reason for us to hold those items for the next 24 years or 23 years, what's left on that deal. So we're going to go to a Octo, which focuses on construction sites as opposed to GovDeals that just puts it out there. The book value is $1.6 million. We don't know if we'll get that exact cost, but it's definitely going to help pay for that. So we're excited about that opportunity, and we're looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll come back to the board and send a report of how much they actually sold for and that part of it too. We work with business and Jeff Robeson and that team to kind of look at the best way to do this, and so we're excited about possibly turning some of this excess items into capital dollars.
Will we have this again next year, every year?
No, this is from the actual project, so this is a one-time excess that we'll be selling off. So hopefully we can sell all this now. If not, we'll continue to do it, and we can always go back to GovDeals to do it. But this is just a one-time find.
Well, this is great news. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. We will now move on to Superintendent's comments. Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Superintendent Davis?
Yes, ma'am, the chair. So a lot of updates this evening. First, we want to recognize Mrs. Chick. If you haven't had a chance to go to Roosevelt and see Miss Chick in action, it is outstanding. It's just blown away the abilities that these students have, their passion, and her way to be able to get the best out of every one of the learners through music. It's awesome. They did a great job on the plaza this evening, so highlights to them. But we'll talk about celebration highlights, referendum updates, being able to look at academic services highlights, and sales tax referendum in our suspended agenda. The first one, which highlights all of our updates to our strategic plans, goals 1 through 4, is for us to talk about community partnerships. And Iris 31 Cheers to Public Service Awards will be put in place and announced and recognized in the month of May. This is where they have a foundation that invites friends and families and parents of educators that continue to give and identify best practices within our school district and within our community. And every one of these teachers, I believe there's 20, that have been identified. 19 are from Hillsborough County. They are rewarded $1,000 plus gifts from Pillar Partners. And there's a number of dates that around the county that they will recognize these individuals, and hats off to them for continuing to be a great partner. And here are the winners, and you can see it makes up from second grade, first grade, all the way through high school. Congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you once again to Jason and Iris 31 for continuing to support education and highlighting our teachers who continue to do great things inside and outside of our classrooms. Also, Florida's top, U.S. Newsweek ranks high schools throughout the nation, and we want to recognize 3 of our high schools being identified as Florida's top 50. Plant High School coming in at number 39, Steinbrenner at 41, and Newsom at 48 in the state of Florida. And note that every one of our high schools are ranked nationally through U.S. News rankings, but I just want to be able to recognize celebration and some of the great things that our high schools are doing to be recognized throughout the state and be recognized nationally. And then also want to bring to the board that the referendum update, thanks to the board for approving it on the 19th of April, and the Board of County Commissioners met and they approved it on May the 4th, which will be pushed through the August 23rd referendum for the primary ballot. And more information, we have a website up that just provides general information, FAQs, all about the current landscape financially and how we'll use these funds to be able to incentivize our staff, expand enrichment opportunities, and also expand workforce development. And then also tonight in the consent agenda, thank you to the board, we have a number of our high school students going to compete. A number of our students going to compete at Gaither High School, who are going to the Special Olympics competition in Orlando. Also Roland Park being able to go to the World Finals in Iowa. And then Chamberlain being able to name their band suite and choral suite. Congratulations to those individuals with Copeland and Robert for their hard work and dedication in the community. And then also tonight on 601, we had an interlocal agreement with Hillsborough County Fire and Rescue, who continue to be able to partner with us in our technical education centers as we seek and receive money from them to train all of their potential employees to make certain that they're ready to be our first responders in our community. So that's hats off to them, and we greatly appreciate it. And also, we just sent out today is our professional development for our teachers. There's a number of professional development, 341 sessions that will take place in the month of June, ranging from ELA, math, and also just instructional best practices, so our teachers can go on and identify what's connected to them that they may be able to improve their craft. We know as ELA and math standards will be new as we transition to next year, and we'll continue to the best training offer a stipend of $15 per hour, and teachers can use and bank these potential points as they move forward. And we're in the process of developing July's professional development and using information from sign-ups in this month of May to determine what will need to progress in the month of July. And then also being able to tonight is really talk about the request for reconsideration of our library media materials. We're going to ask Kim to really speak about this process. What does it look like? We know we've had parents continuing to ask about this process. So I think it's tonight to yield my time to Kim and let Kim talk about our systems and where we're going as an organization.
Good evening. I'm Kim DeFusco. I'm supervisor of library media services for grades 6 to 12, and I'm here to shed some additional light on the collection management procedures for our school libraries. So First, all materials through the School Library Media Center are voluntary inquiry and self-selected by students, not required reading. Families are the arbiter of students' media consumption, and our school library media specialists are a key partner and resource for helping students and families find materials that meet students' interests and families' priorities and values. Additionally, our online catalog is available for searches, reading and resource recommendations, and custom curated lists that families can make themselves for their own reader. Our library media specialists in Hillsborough hold a Florida PK through 12 educational media specialist certificate, and then in addition to that, either a master's degree in library and information science or complete at minimum 18 master's level credit hours in school library coursework, including administration of a school library program, library collection development, and literature for children and young adults. When building and evaluating the collections, they utilize selection criteria that include input and recommendations from the school community, supporting school curriculum and student pleasure reading, professionally reviewed recommendations, materials that represent diversity in authorship, character, experience, and story, support the school's unique needs, community, demographics, and data, and are evaluated on the themes and literary value of the work as a whole, not excerpts removed from context. So even with the credentials of the library media specialists and the care taken in the selection process, occasional objections to some materials may be voiced by the public. Library media materials that are sensitive or mature in nature may not be appropriate for all readers at a school, but could be appropriate to remain a part of the collection to address the needs of some of the reading community. Each concern is reviewed with thought and gravity using the request for reconsideration of library materials procedures, which align with National American Library Association and American Association of School Libraries recommendations. So step one in that process is for a complainant to share their concern with the school's library media specialist for discussion about the selection process and the place of the material with the collection, as well as the specific concern of the citizen and opportunities for resolution. If further review for removal is requested by the complainant, the media specialist provides the request for reconsideration form, which consists of 8 questions for the complainant to attest to reading the material in its entirety and to document the specifics of their concern. Upon receipt of a completed form, the school then provides a copy of the material to the Educational Media Materials Committee at that school site. That committee reads it in its entirety, they consult professional reviews, they review the complainant's submitted form, they weigh the merits and alleged faults of the material against the selection policy, and they reach a decision. So each school's Educational Media Materials Committee is formed by the library media specialist with the support from administration at the beginning of each and every school year. And it consists of an administrator, the library media specialist, school faculty, and community member. High schools also have the option to include a student on the committee with parent permission. Due to the vast diversity of each school's community, the decision of a school's Educational Media Materials Committee applies only to their own school. An overview of this process has long been on the district's website on the Library Media Frequently Asked Questions page. An expanded description of the step-by-step procedures was posted and updated in April.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you taking the time to review that process. And then also tonight we want to be able to talk about sales tax referendum. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. Let me stay there. Maybe questions. Referendum. We have a number of $8.1 million that came to the board tonight for approval for our projects. Thank you to our half-cent, penny tax for our community addressing our deferred maintenance. We continue to have our advisory council to review this every project and make certain there's a connection along the way. So we appreciate them. Then also suspended agenda. One of the the questions was about Transformation Network. Wanted to give an update on our college fellows. As we know, we're trying to be innovative to be able to bring individuals to provide interventions to our children to help them be successful due to the fact that there is a talent war to be able to bring qualified skilled teachers to our school district. So being able to leverage ESSER funds, we have 138 total applicants. 81 have been assigned to schools or in the HR pipeline. 28 of the transformational network schools, with at least one of those being able to be CFs, and also 3 being able to teacher recruitment 22-23 school year. So not only do we have individuals that are in our schools working as students, but being able to recruit them to extend them open contracts to be able to put them in front of our students with a certification for stability. So just want to give an update of where we are for our fellowships. This is a great partnership with all of our colleges and universities from a local perspective, and we thank them for allowing us to be able to bring students. And then also we're going to provide an update to our literacy. Mr. Connor, you want to hit where we are from a supplemental book purchase?
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. We know that we have purchased a lot of books over the last couple of months, and so we wanted to take this slide. I know it's a lot there, but I want to just debrief a little bit about those purchases for the board and for the public to understand the investment that has been made as we transition to the best standards next year, and the alignment to the adoption, curriculum adoption for ELA. So back in February, we purchased titles from the best book list and purchased over 145,000 copies of those titles to be spread across our classrooms. And then in March, we brought 2 purchases for K2, specifically decodable readers as we build students' foundational skills in K1 and 2. We brought sets of decodable readers for the classrooms in kindergarten and in first grade. We brought over 3,000 books that could be take-home books for students, as well as 750 copies of Spanish take-home books across 30 titles in our transformation kindergarten and first grade classrooms. Additionally, we bought 198 books per kindergarten and first grade classroom to align with the Wonders curriculum and to supplement instruction and learning. And then tonight, we purchased over 572,000 novels that will be provided per child as they begin to embark on this new curriculum that we'll be implementing next year. So $6.19 million has been invested in our classroom with books. And so it's exciting to see how this will help enhance the curriculum. And we just wanted to recap that because we know we've brought a lot of purchases lately. And that's a summation of everything. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. This is a way to continue to strengthen literacy and strengthen our core instruction. So we appreciate the team. They've done a really great job, and this literacy team is done some really cool things for our children and for our teachers. And that's it. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. Member Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I attended a bingo game with Member Cones. Now, I don't play bingo, but it was awesome. It was a fundraiser for Blake Performing Arts. And it was really neat. Not that I'm going to get in the habit of playing bingo, but it was cool. And also, I did a ride-along on April 30th. Now, board members, let me say this. I had the opportunity to ride along. It was a midnight shift with the Tampa PD. It was raining, but I was able to see how homelessness is truly affecting our students' stability and thus affecting their education as well. You know, our families are couch surfing right now because they're not able to find affordable housing or being priced out of their rentals that they were residing in. And, but I was truly encouraged by witnessing our Tampa PD take into consideration the mental health of our youth, their families, when making decisions. And that evening was very eye-opening for me. But I want to say to you, fellow board members, that if you have the opportunity to go on a ride along with our police, our sheriff, or Tampa PD, do it, because it is truly, truly an experience to see what our children, what our students deal with, and what our Tampa PD really do. Especially do it on a midnight shift. Don't do it in the middle of the day. I'm just saying. Because you have to stay awake. And then you really experience the things in the evening. And also, Member Washington and I had the amazing experience of attending the 2021-22 Excellence in Action Awards. First, I want to congratulate all the nominees. And then I want to acknowledge the following winners. In administration, from Durant High School, Gary Graham. Instructional support staff from Willis Peters ESE Center, Stacy McGrillen. Support staff, Barbara Caldori from Mintz Elementary. The therapist, Alexa Bourne from Northwest Elementary. In transportation, Courtney Willis from Roosevelt Elementary. In our community partners, Bay Hope Church. And in volunteers, Nicholas Capola. And I got to say, some of the winners, they were like relatives. It was really neat. And also, Dr. Monica Vera-Tirado was there as well. And I'm going to pass it over to Member Washington so he could share the rest of our amazing winners with the board.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Washington? Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so it was really a wonderful event that night. We had a great time, Member Perez and I. And some of the winners from that event was Daniel Pappy, the General Education Department from Roosevelt Elementary School. We had Richard Roy, the General Education Secretary teacher from Benito. We had Rhonda Jenner and Mary Jane Scalio. That takes a team. It takes a team. So they won from Benito Middle School. We had Christian Senard, Exceptional Student Education Pre-K from Luke's K-8. We had Diana Johnson, Exceptional Student Education Teacher from Caminiti, ESE Center. We had Michael Smith, Exceptional Student Education Middle School Teacher from Pepin Academies. And we had George Collins, Exceptional Student Education from Warden High School. And it really was a great event. We had a great time. Now, moving on to some other events I had an opportunity to go to. I had a chance to go to the NAACP, the new location, their open house, and Superintendent Davis was there, Member Combs, Member Vaughn, and Member Gray. We all attended that. It was quite interesting. It was really a nice event. And then on May 1st, I went to the Joshua House of Hope. And this was a young man that was killed in a car accident, a former student at Milton High School some years ago. So his father started in October. Now, they just got it started in October. They had an event, and it's called the Joshua of Hope. They gave out 15 scholarships to students, and they gave them $1,000 apiece. What a great fundraiser. They sold me. I told them from now on I would be donating to that foundation because it was really nice. And majority of those students came from Milton High School. Go Tigers. And then on April the 23rd, I forgot to make the announcement. I had the opportunity to go to a delegation at King High School. The baseball complex was named for Jim Macalusa. And that was a great event. They had, unbelievable amount of people attending that. It was really nice. Let me not leave out, I got to support the Suncoast Support Education System. We do have support for teachers in education. All they have to do is they can check with Mrs. You got it, Miss Dr. Whalen on this also, because we have the forms, we have all the information down. And as I look at it, the last three, my wife and I took advantage of it many years ago. So they have all these opportunities for educators. It's not a lot, but you know what? Every little bit helps. At the end of the day, that's what helps. Every little bit. Then moving on, and Member Gray and I, we had an opportunity to meet for summer jobs with the Recreation Department. They have summer jobs not only for students, but also for teachers. Oh, you have a slide for that? Okay. No, I'm gonna let you. You could. Yes, ma'am. Okay, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention that we have many opportunities. In fact, when I taught, I worked at the Recreation Department sometime myself, so it was great. Now, Pablo. It's always, look, when you see Shake Washington, I'm always gonna have a little fun now. That's the nature of the beast. Okay, as you can see, we had the Kappa Alpha Psi Derby Day. We had the Derby Day. We had a great time in the that's my fraternity there. Right. Now, let me tell you, we had a great time. A really, really unbelievable time. As you can see, you see one of the assistant superintendents in there. Hey, look, he won the prize. That's the best pair of slacks we saw all night. Yes. They're slacks. And he had on his cowboy boots. So it was a great fundraiser for us, for the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. So we had a great time. But yeah, we really had a great time. I had you can see we had Mrs. Looney. We had another on the board. We had his wife there. So we had a great time. Why you took that down so soon, Pablo? Okay. But anyway, so thank you. We really enjoyed. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Gray?
Chuckle, but boy, Farkas, you have probably a record too. You just broke one in the color code department. So, my comments include the Florida Tax Watch recognized Chamberlain principal Jake Russell for being the Florida's most effective high-risk principal. And I was joined by Superintendent Davis and Member Vaughn. And we also had Chamberlain's Jennifer Correa, who also received some money. Member Vaughn, how much money did she? Oh, it wasn't money. It was a two-year prepaid college. So the generosity was wonderful. The Casper's Good Character Award, we talk about mental health and we talk about the moral compass, but I'll tell you something, the Good Character Award, at least Junta, and I know that Shake Washington attended that, and I believe another board member did, but Junta had all 3 grade levels. Oh, Member Vaughn also did. Yeah, I couldn't remember the third one. Were represented. So, but let's see if we can't have a snapshot, Pablo, of did we get I think we got a little video of the Caspers, or am I? Is that a yay? No? Negative. Okay. Pablo. But, all right. We're going to forgive Pablo. Here's the big one. We had a huge, I want to thank the cabinet, a huge Hispanic Waiamama outreach where the needs and concerns of the South Shore and Waiamama parents and former students and community business leaders shared what they see to be the needs of the community. Waiamama, and I don't know if this is a good comparison, but it's growing so quick, and Mr. Farkas knows, that it's going to surpass population, just record-breaking. And I don't know if it's going to be the new Brandon out there or not, but it's getting pretty busy. But I wanted to thank Ileana Cintrone and Liz Gutierrez, the Enterprising Latinos, Principal LeBron, Waiamama Elementary School Principal, our cabinet members, and they're all sitting right in front of me. Thank you, Superintendent Davis. They were all there. Just wanted you to know that the leadership of Hillsborough County Public Schools care, and they are very much involved. Yes, we have a slideshow. very much involved. Whoops, here comes the slideshow. No voice, but, and it's odd to see Superintendent Davis not have a voice, but he has welcomed, embraced, I guess I'm chewing gum, not. Monica Vera Tirado was there, and that's Ileana Cintron, who's Enterprising Latinos. A lot of interactions, notes were taken, and our cabinet members will be getting back to the parents, and that's the principal at Shields. Yes, Elena Garcia, you can see, who was very active. Carol Mayo, the migrant liaison. Remember her. Oh, there's Denise Savino, principal at Leonard. Lots of interaction, lots of learning. Superintendent Davis, what did you learn more than anything? See, I always put people on the spot. Oh, I'm not as bad as Sheik Washington, but getting there. What did you learn from that?
Well, through the chair, first and foremost, I learned that the Waimama community is a cohesive unit. And the other thing is that they value education, and they just need to know and want to know what resources are out there so that they can coordinate those efforts to help their learner be successful. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that all the, we had response opportunities from the parents that wanted to ask about extended learning opportunities, protection for their students, being able to address bullying, how they continue to be successful. And I think our team did a really good job being able to navigate through this process and coordinate those efforts to be able to address our learners and their families where they feel comfortable. And I think it's just the more we get in the community, the better sense of care and trust that we create. And it was a good event to be able to have the connection in this community, especially because it's expanding and growing.
And thank you, Superintendent Davis. Great student. Miss Monica, what did you take away real quick? Oh, I'm over my time. You have a few words to say.
Through the chair, and we certainly don't want you to be over your time.
I know.
But it was an amazing event, and just they were also very appreciative of the efforts that the district has made thus far in improving our communication and making sure that everything that we send out in English is getting to them in Spanish as well. And we're really starting to see the difference that is making. So we're just going to continue to push forward and partner with our community, colleagues out there, and hopefully do continue these kinds of activities throughout the district, because our Hispanic population is all throughout our district, certainly not just a Waimama. So look forward to the next opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Farkas, and thank you, Mr. Connor, Ms. Burkett. And we had so many. Leadership definitely cares in our Hillsborough County Public Schools. I guess, do I have time for that City of Tampa summer positions? Because it was part of Shake too.
45 seconds.
All right. So, the City of Tampa has over 1,000 jobs, summer jobs, and they came to us and wanted us to pretty much say to our students and adults that they're hiring, and these are really sophisticated jobs, not necessarily, just in the camping or the rowing, but also in career future jobs. So feel free to contact them, and that's a great opportunity. So thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, board members. I know I went over almost. 9 seconds. Okay.
6 and counting, no. Member Snively?
Thank you. I'm going to try not to beat a dead horse because I know I'm outnumbered on this, but I guess I appreciate every piece of information that was shared today about the process. So thank you, Ms. DeFusco. I know that you work hard to make sure that you're communicating that out, and Mr. Connor and Mr. Superintendent. I appreciate those efforts to keep pushing that information out. I just want people to understand that there is a segment of the population that is very concerned about the instructional materials that we are putting out in our schools and our media centers. And we just need to make it just as easy for people to access that instructional material is just as easy for people to protect their children from it. That's all I'm asking. Okay, so just let's make it a two-way street and come to an agreement that there are things that some parents want their children exposed to read, and there are some things that parents don't want their children exposed to read, and we have to make it equally as easy for all parents. That's it. Okay, now good stuff. Teacher Appreciation Week, I hope everyone really felt appreciated. I know there was a lot of love going around the district when it comes to making teachers feel like they are just amazing and inspiration to all of our students. So happy Teacher Appreciation Week, which was last week. Thank you to my CAC reps. I was invited to participate in the last CAC meeting, and I want to thank Mr. Scott Brooks for talking about our CTE programs and what's developing with CTE and how many students we're reaching for certification programs, which is an amazing number of students that we're preparing for life. Speaking of that, graduation season is here. Congratulations to all of our seniors who are graduating. I know that board members are looking forward to attending probably not every single graduation ceremony, but we will have a rotation and we will all get to participate in the celebration. So congratulations to all those graduating seniors out there, big time. And then just a quick congratulations to all the new principals and administrators. Best of luck. This is a big shift, every year when we do this for new leadership in different parts of our district, and we appreciate everything that they do, and we wish them the best, and we know that they're going to give it their all for our students every single day. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Member Snively. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. Since you went ahead and shared some of your feelings about some things before we moved into the positive thing, I would also just like to say in the conversation that we have about our process and our library materials, the concern that I have is when we have speakers who come and use words like pedophiles and grooming around this process. To mislabel the word grooming or the word pedophile is very dangerous. We live in a world where we have to be very on guard to exactly talk about what those words mean, because to use them out of place can be dangerous. If people don't really understand what grooming looks like and what a danger that is to our community, and it's being used because somebody doesn't agree with you on something politically, it creates a problem where you water down that word and it creates confusion, and it's increasingly dangerous. And so, I would just ask everybody to be intentional with their words. When people come out and say, this is literally the definition of grooming, and it's not literally the definition of grooming, that's problematic. And we need to really be careful as we talk about serious subjects like that. So I'll quickly just say that and then move on as well. So I did want to talk about college fellows. I've actually been in my schools and seen many of them and was very confused at first. I was like, who are all these people walking around that look like they don't belong here? But then I realized that they were our college fellows. And I just mean because they look so young, not for any other reason, not because they weren't engaged. But then I realized, who they were and did see them engaging with our students. And it was great to see them on our campuses and to see that in action. Also, I wanted to talk about the Casper's Good Character Award that Member Gray brought up. I had the honor of being able to see that at one of my schools. And it is so great to see a company rewarding students for just being good people and being kind and sharing messages and being thoughtful. I mean, kindness is something that, I think going into the next school year, we really need to focus on as a community in the way that we interact with each other and what we look for in our schools. And that Casper's Award, the student that received the award in my school, I mean, his fellow students almost stood up and just applauded because they were so grateful that he got that. So I love that we're doing stuff like that in our schools. Also, I wanted to say good luck to everyone who's doing FSA this week. Again, my son was very excited to rush into school and get 100%. Does he get a letter from the governor if he gets 100% on the FSA? Because he has questions about that.
Yes, to the chair, he gets a letter if they are 100% and a 5.
Okay, well, he is hoping to get that letter. But just good luck to everybody who's taking the FSA.
I'll write letter too.
And we are gearing up for graduation, so I want to mirror Member Snively's comments about that. Congratulations to all of our seniors who will be graduating. I have my godson graduating, and I'm excited to see that journey. And finally, I've been spending a lot of times in my schools, some of my newer schools, and really having conversations. And we've transitioned away from, hopefully, the most stressful part of COVID with a lot of indecision and which direction do we need to go. But this year actually has been a harder year than the year previous. If you talk to the people in our schools, our administrators, our staff, and everyone is really hopeful that as we transition into this next school year, again, what we can focus on is kindness and treating other people with respect, giving each other the benefit of the doubt. I think everybody, kind of got through this pandemic and we're all kind of dealing with different stages of trauma. But I really hope that next year, what we saw from the pandemic is how valuable education is, right? I mean, that's where parents across the country were, begging for schools to reopen because they realize how valuable it is. And we really need to take lessons from the pandemic and appreciate all of the work that our teachers, our admins, our cafeteria workers, our bus drivers, our janitors, everybody in the school does. Because quite honestly, we can talk about Teacher Appreciation Week and, I send gifts to all of the people in the school, but they're not feeling very appreciated. And where that appreciation comes from is a mutual respect, giving the people in the schools the benefit of the doubt that they're there to take care of our children for the right reasons and that they work hard. So, as we kind of end this school year, I'm just hopeful that we'll go into the next school year, focusing on kindness and really supporting the people in our schools and focusing on our students and, doing the best thing for education. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. So I got to go out with the Casper's folks to Tinker and was there when they gave out the Good Character Award, and it was very exciting. And I just want to thank Casper's McDonald's for their partnership around that and helping to share kindness and make kindness contagious. I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Smith. He was one of the recipients of the Excellence in Action Award. Teacher at Pepin. Michael was one of my students when I was a professor at USF. And so I am not surprised he won this award. He is really making a difference every single day. He's a wonderful special ed teacher. And congrats, Mike. You're a great guy and you're a great teacher. So I was happy to see that he won that award. We had the last early childhood literacy fair of the school year on Saturday. It was at Belmont Elementary School, and we gave over 3,000 books out to over 700 children in our community in just 2.5 hours. And it wasn't just all about books. We were joined by dozens of community partners who gave out various resources to families. We had the Bucks Feeding Tampa Bay, the Children's Board, the Rays, the Lightning, the Early Learning Coalition, Frameworks, just to name a few. There were so many needs being met beyond the books, food insecurities and childcare and health and literacy needs, that it was just really heartwarming to see everybody come out. And once again, for the third time this year and the 7th time since I've been on the board, come out and support that initiative. The most rewarding part of the day by far is the children's faces when they're receiving all of these items. We had, like I mentioned, over 700 kids, and we had Redlands Christian Migrant Association come out with 2 buses of their students, and that was really exciting, and so I appreciate them being a part of it as well. I have just a quick video. It's only about a minute long, so Pablo. I just want to thank a few folks, Sharon O'Connor and Anne-Marie Courtney. You're so instrumental in the planning and the execution of this event. Couldn't do it without both of them. Big thank you to Julie and David Cole and Michelle Rogers. They're wonderful MyOwn partners around this event initiative. They helped me build the Bohome libraries before the event and set up the day of, and they're there from beginning to end. John Milburn, who shares a passion for this work, he's been part of this work from day one as well, gives a lot of his time to the event. Mr. Beekman and Mr. Farkas for instrumental in arranging the facilities for the day, and Chief Newman for arranging the security. And we had some, staff out there, Tracy Brown, Monica Veritarato, Tracy Bergman, and many others. Thank you so much. You come out to these fairs. You really help make it a wonderful event for everybody. Laura in communications, she not only comes out and takes photos, but she DJs lately too for the event. So she's very, very talented DJing. So, and the Triad Foundation, through their generous grant to My Foundation Literacy is Key, we funded this event. So thank you to the Triad Foundation. And to everyone sitting in this front row tonight, you are all very appreciated. You all work very, very hard. And when we talk about being kind and showing kindness, we should model that from this dais. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Member Hahn. And just with closing, just a couple things. Last week at the recognition meeting, it was amazing recognizing all the students, but something that really stood out to me was the number of teachers that came to support their students. It was late in the evening after a long day of work. I was just it never ceases to amaze me how much our teachers do above and beyond. And just a couple I wanted to mention. I wanted to mention Shannon Peck Bartel at Steinbrenner High School, who's really going out and trying to make curriculum come alive through grave sites at Black grave sites. And she had a brunch and learn last Saturday at Pinellas County. So not only is she doing something in Hillsborough County, but she's stretching across the bridge to make sure to have curriculum come to life for students. And then just a few days ago, I went to a retirement party of a paraprofessional at Leto High School, Sarah Fuentes. Once again, there was the principal with her 2 young children late in the afternoon, and teachers just supporting Sarah, who actually I worked with at Davidson Middle School, who ended up her career at Leto High School. So over and over, we see so many teachers and paraprofessionals and our entire staff and faculty doing so much. And I just want to say it really is truly appreciated. And hopefully we can continue pushing that appreciation so it's financial appreciation as well and not just words. And I appreciate, Superintendent, all that you're doing to push this millage, because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that our teachers can afford to live in Hillsborough County and that they can feed their families by doing the most important job in our community, which is teaching and working with children. Also, in the last few weeks, there's been so many great partnerships and events that I've been able to attend. One was through HEF with Tracy Brown, who organized a panel of early educators who were able to see our interns from USF and to hear about what's happening in our schools and how they can work with early education. Our Friends of Children, which where we find mentors to work with children through the foster care frameworks. Also, we celebrated 40 years with Bays that supports our juvenile justice system. And then we went to the JK Foundation, which supports the Blake's Arts. And finally, probably for me, one of the most profound events that I've been to since being on the board is the Future Career Academy, because we have to remember that not every child is going to go directly to college or the military, and that not every child is going to go directly into CTE either. They may want to go directly into the workforce. So Yvonne Fry is just doing an amazing job, and I was able to go. I know Member Hahn and Member Gray and I, we went out to the Plant City event, and that was just amazing to see hundreds of kids coming in, being celebrated for looking for jobs, and all the companies that were there. It was so impactful. And then hearing from, the legendary Mayor Lott coming and talking about his life experience. And at the end of the day, the one thing that rang through over and over is really it comes down to having a good work ethic and really just having that base of education and opening up. So we have just a couple of pictures that I wanted to share with the Future Career Academy. Pablo? He's just going to share a couple of these. Just I should have been kind of narrating this at the same time. And the one exciting thing is that this started many years ago, and I know Member Snively, you were there at the very beginning, and because of the need and the demand, we are really going to expand this program throughout the district. I'm very, very excited about this. And I just want to say thank you to Yvonne Fry and for everybody involved in the Future Career Academy to make sure that all students are really heard. And I mean, we had so many individuals. We even had, Mr. Kona was there talking about jobs. I mean, we had so many different individuals in the community, and you can see how exciting, how it was like packed house. And the great thing about this is after the students leave, they keep it open for adults too to find jobs, because at the end of the day, if we can strengthen our community, then we can strengthen, where we live every day. And you can see the excitement and as many adults in the back and all the children. So I just want to thank everybody, and I hope everyone has a nice evening, and this meeting is adjourned.